Anna Page? Should we wait a little bit? Yeah. Chris, Anna Page? Wait about 5 minutes? Yeah, I'll wait a little bit after. Folks, oh, okay, here we go. Good afternoon, folks. Would like to start this meeting. Orange Unified School District Board of Education, special board meeting, January 5th, 2022. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Ms. Rumsey, is there a quorum? Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, a few things here. We have about 60 cards, so that is about 3 hours. So please, we want to expedite this as much as possible because we need to. Please. I'm asking you to please just refrain. Everyone can talk, but our protocol is that we found that works best is when the first speaker is called, they come up to the podium, and then another name will be called, and if they could just come up next to the podium here and be ready to go, and then so on and so forth. So please help us in that regard to have a efficient meeting, and we can all get our words in and continue. Okay? Ms.
Mr.
Rumsey?
President, can I
Yes.
ask a few clarifying questions, procedural questions about this meeting?
Sure.
Okay. I want to clarify for the public that this is actually a special meeting that was called by you, the president, and it's not an emergency meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I also want to clarify that this is being called under Government Code 54957B1 as opposed to C. Is that correct?
What is on the agenda? What does it show on the agenda?
B1.
Yes.
So I'm going to clarify, there were no complaints lodged against either one of the subjects that are the subject of closed session. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and the difference between a special session and is a 24-hour notice. You are aware from our Friday packets that both of the subjects, Kathleen Corella and Dr. Hansen, are both out of the country as of 2:15 yesterday when we received notice. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. I want to know if you personally, as president, reached out by telephone, text, email, any other way to either Kathleen Corella or Dr. Hansen regarding this particular meeting and it being called?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Howard.
I also want to make sure that I'm sure you're aware it's winter break and that a lot of parents, thankfully, people are concerned about this issue. They were able to turn out, but 24-hour notice isn't much time to gather any kind of information. You're aware it's winter break, correct?
I don't know. I work 9 to 5, so I don't get a winter break.
Okay. So for For the Orange Unified School District, they are on winter break. The teachers are on vacation. Administration, again, one is, Gomarie has been in Norway, and Kathleen Corella is in the Caribbean somewhere, out of the country. And there may very well be, I've seen some letters that came in from the public from people that were actually on vacation and couldn't make it.
Thank you
I
for
also, I
clarifying that.
had one more question. I sent an email to you and I asked you for any written information that you could provide that was the basis for calling this meeting and the proposed action. And I also asked for in writing any information regarding proposed interim superintendent or assistant superintendent. I have received nothing as of 2:30. Did you send anything to us in writing regarding either names of potential candidates, resumes of potential candidates, or any other information regarding potential appointments for interim superintendent or assistant superintendent?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. All right. I think just as a matter of comment at the last meeting, I asked specifically that we honor our no surprises policy, which has been a long-held policy in Orange Unified School District. This is the ultimate surprise because you're ultimately, potentially, getting rid of the CEO and the Assistant Vice President of Educational Services for a 27,000 student district and 3,500 employees, multiple families. This is a huge, huge decision, and it's highly unusual to have it held like this. We as board members, fellow board members, have been given absolutely zero information, and we're being asked to appoint a superintendent and an assistant superintendent with zero information. Is that correct? As of right now.
Calling a 24-hour meeting is a huge decision that I made. So please don't think that I don't know what is happening here. This is obviously
Okay. My
a huge
question was-
decision, so please
My question
don't
was-
patronize me with
My question
some
wasn't
of your
whether or
words.
not calling a 24-hour meeting is a big decision. It's calling a 24-hour meeting when the question in order is appointment of a superintendent and an assistant superintendent interim. Do you think that is a big issue before us?
Mr. President, for point of order, we are off the agenda, and we need to
That's true.
stick to this agenda.
That's true.
It is strictly
We're here.
a special.
We are here for a special board meeting.
Special
We
board
have an
meeting.
agenda. Ms. Erickson, you'll have to.
The public comment section is next.
We'll have to get on
We
with
have
the
not,
meeting,
as a
Ms.
board,
Erickson.
collectively spoken to anything in reference to closed session.
Nowhere does it say question and
Therefore,
answer
is-
on the agenda with Board
Special
Member
meetings
Erickson.
need to adhere to exactly what is on the agenda and not off the agenda.
Correct, and the
So
government
therefore-
code section was cited 54957B1, which is regarding employee discipline, dismissal, and release, and that you've called a special meeting. So those two issues are in fact on the agenda.
And confidential. These are
I'm not
confidential
asking about
matters.
substance, I'm asking about process.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I would like to also call point of personnel privilege to speak on why are we having this meeting. I want to know, first of all, do we have counsel in the House?
I believe so. I don't know where he is, but I believe we do.
Okay, well, I would
Counsels.
like a legal opinion, whether this meeting is done in accordance with bylaws 9320A, Dr. Hansen's contract, Ms. Corella's contract, statutory law, and the Brown Act. So is this meeting properly noticed and scheduled?
Yes.
I want the opinion of an attorney.
I'm sorry, but we're not. We will have to. You will have to
We are
wait for
not
that. No,
talking
we're going to
about the
continue. This is all.
substance of the
You'll
meeting.
have to lodge your complaint after. You'll have to lodge your complaint after. We are going to continue with this meeting. No. I'm sorry.
I will not
a
expose
sport?
myself to any legal
Then you're-
exposure by
you're-
doing
Nope.
an illegal meeting.
I already took care of all that. That is all. It's all
That is
legal. within-
your opinion, and I
Nope,
want to
got
hear
plenty of
from the
opinions.
attorney.
I got a good opinion from the attorney. Okay. We are going to continue with this
If we
meeting.
have counsel in the
Okay.
House, I would like,
Recall. Try to consult an attorney?
This is not a discussion with the audience. This is a board meeting, okay?
Well, it is customary that we could ask our council questions.
We need to continue. Ms.
No.
Rumsey, please.
You
Please,
said you refused to answer any of my questions.
Members
I
of the
don't have to answer your
audience may
questions.
address the Board of Education on agenda items during consideration of that. Speaking time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker with a maximum of 20 minutes per topic. Persons wishing to speak should submit a public comment card prior to the meeting. Are we ready?
I
Yes.
still.
Mr.
no,
President, are we ready?
You're welcome to do whatever you want, Ms. Yamasaki. I'm going to continue with this meeting.
I would like
Okay,
to
first,
request
first,
We have
have
Linda Elliott.
special
are you going to be
And on
interrupting?
board is Lee Tuzignant.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. President.
We are sticking to the agenda,
All
and the
right.
agenda states public comment.
I'd like
Well,
to
we'd
make a
like to-
motion.
No, I'm not taking any motions. We're on the item of public comment, okay?
So you're denying me the right to make a motion? Okay.
Go ahead. Next,
Well, I agree. I think we can make a motion and have a discussion. So I'd like to make a motion to postpone this meeting to a regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second the motion.
okay, we got a second. We got a first and a second discussion.
All right. This is my opportunity to ask the questions then. Do we have counsel in the House that I can ask these questions?
You had the opportunity to ask for counsel like Mrs. Erickson did and contact counsel. Mrs. Erickson contacted counsel. What did counsel say to you, Ms. Erickson?
Do you want me to disclose what council told me?
It would be, did counsel tell you that this is within,
You're asking me to disclose attorney-client privilege, and if that's what
No, just
I don't think that's a wise
fine.
decision.
Fine.
But
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second,
I'm still asking to see whether there's counsel in the House.
and that's not where we're at. We got a motion and a second.
Now, I would like to ask
Motion
counsel
second.
whether this is a
We
legal
already
meeting.
had counsel.
I would like to ask the council and put it on record directly, please.
I'm sorry, the council, I think the council's over in closed session. Karen, is council over in closed session? Okay, can you have somebody go get him? Council over in closed session?
He's here.
Yeah.
He's right there.
Oh, can you come to the podium, please? To this podium? Excuse me, ma'am, I'm sorry. Well, we got to get some words from him.
Hello.
Right.
So I have one board member properly acknowledging that legal advice is given confidentially and not in a public setting, and another board member demanding that legal advice be given in a public setting.
Hold on, and then we have a protocol that, which these board members came up with. The president has to seek approval. You have to get approval of the president to speak with attorney. And I've not given Ms. Yamasaki approval to speak with you. I mean, this is a policy that Ms. Yamasaki and Ms. Erickson were involved in.
Why don't you ask him?
Isn't that right, Ms. Yamasaki? Isn't that our policy?
That's if we reach them on our own time.
I
From
don't remember
home,
that.
I cannot call.
I don't remember that.
I
just
can't-
I
yeah.
remember that you have to talk
We
with the
typ-
president
We
to.
don't always ask at every meeting whether we can speak to legal counsel. They are here
But
for
we have,
us
don't.
to consult with.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't we have that policy where you have to get approval from the president to speak with it?
Well,
with
do
the
I have your
attorney?
approval?
Please.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to
Mark,
restate
please.
my questions, please. Thank you. I would like legal opinion whether this meeting is done in accordance with bylaws 9320A, Dr. Hanson's contract, Ms. Carella's contract, statutory law, and the Brown Act.
Yes.
Is this meeting properly noticed and scheduled
Yes.
and met the 24-hour requirement?
Yes.
What is the basis of this exigent meeting? Usually meetings, we can discuss something like this during a regular meeting. What is the basis of a special
I
meeting?
think, Mr.
That's not,
Yeah, that's my question
that's
to
not
answer.
within my realm of knowledge.
That's my question to answer. This is, I felt compelled
Yeah.
to call this meeting, and it had to be a special board meeting.
Okay, my other question is it legal for our board to take adverse employment action without notice
Yes.
at a 24-hour notice special meeting without Dr. Hanson and Ms. Carella present?
Yes. There's a provision of the Brown Act that is a narrow circumstance where an employee is entitled to 24-hour notice. This is not one of them.
And I'll just clarify that. The provision would be if there was an actual complaint that was lodged against the superintendent or the assistant superintendent. If that occurred, it would require 24-hour notice personal notice to both of those parties, correct?
If there was going to be a hearing in closed session, we discussed this, we
Correct.
talked for an hour today, and I explained to you, if there is going to be a hearing conducted in closed session on complaints or charges, an evidentiary hearing with witnesses, cross-examination, et cetera, in closed session, that's when an employee is entitled to 24-hour notice. That's not what this meeting is about.
Okay, and just to clarify, you're defining hearing as accepting evidence, hearing witnesses, reviewing documents. Would that be considered a hearing?
Yes, there's case law on this subject.
Okay.
And that concluded that the legislature used the word hearing to mean what we usually associate as a hearing in a legal proceeding, as opposed to simply hearing with your ears. So it has the trappings of a legal proceeding. That is the circumstance that the case law talks about.
So the way
Okay, wait,
it's
hold,
just
Mark,
a
before you,
second.
no, Mark,
So-
before you answer any other questions, are we pretty much materially identified this meeting as a legal meeting, and we can proceed?
This is not an illegal meeting, and you
No,
can proceed.
a legal meeting. This
It's a legal
all
meeting.
conforms with all ed code and everything. So we
Yes.
can continue.
Yes.
Okay, you can go now.
Just
Thank
in
you.
closed
No more
session, then
questions.
we are not permitted to have a hearing.
No more questions.
That's the
No,
clarification.
this is not question and answer the attorney, okay? We're going to proceed here. Please, I think we've already
Linda Elliott and Lee
established this is
Chuzinot on-
a fully
We have a
legal
motion
meeting.
on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor.
Oh, yes. Okay. Karen, can we take a roll call vote?
Well, I'm not finished. So. Just want to say, I wanted to confirm whether the legal requirements of the law were met in
Appreciate that.
holding this meeting, because we would not want to expose ourselves to more.
We're on the same page.
Okay.
Okay.
However, I am still concerned about the transparency and having community, lack of transparency, thank you, and not having good community input, being that this is held on winter break and given only 24-hour notice. I mean, I'm actually impressed with the size of the crowd that's here, but can you imagine if they were given 72-hour notice or more
Thank you, Ms.
during a
Yamasaki.
non-winter break?
Thank you, Ms. Yamasaki. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call. Excuse me now, let's clarify. What was your motion there, Ms. Erickson?
It was my motion to
Yamasaki, what was-
postpone the meeting.
Postpone the meeting. Okay, so the motion is to postpone the meeting A yes, it means we postpone the meeting. A no means we continue and move forward on this meeting. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.
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 Okay. We will proceed. Okay, next.
Linda Elliott
Okay, now, and then the person on deck.
is Lee
Next.
Tuzignant.
So Lee Tuzignant.
I'm right here.
Okay, good, great, thank you.
Don't worry about me.
All right.
Okay. Hello, board members. My name is Linda Elliott. I've been a resident of Orange for 45 years. I have 2 children who went to school here and through the whole school district. I have 2 grandchildren presently in Orange Unified. And I am a former employee of Orange Unified School District. I'm a retired teacher who participated in creating the first Santiago Charter Middle School. And the success and the straight work that was developed over 2 years' time to get that approved. It is now, 25 years old as a charter school. First one in the state, or in the county, and the county of Orange. Okay, I'm here in support of Gunn-Marie Henderson being retained. She has led the school district to outstanding and positive recognition within the state and the county. She is led our school district to be one of the first to be back in session with our students and teachers and employees in the county. It's been noticed in the public media that Orange Unified School District has had the least learning loss due to the fact that they were back in class early on. And this was due to the excellent administration of Gunn-Marie Hansen. She is a respectful relationship with unions and community members. She's always been down the middle of the road, whether you were left or right. She made sure that everyone was heard, and she was respectful of parents, students, teachers, unions, and other board members. She was recently recognized and honored as the top administrator of the year. My daughter attended that meeting, okay, and saw that she was awarded that. She's also received the honorary PTA Service Award for the entire 4th District of PTA, which is Orange County. Nothing but outstanding performance evaluations, quote, from Orange County Register as of today. The fact that this meeting was called when she was out of the country taking care of her severely ill mother is very poor form. It smacks of underhandedness, cruelty, and very unprofessional and even political swaying. School board races are nonpartisan
Please
races.
summarize.
School board races are nonpartisan races.
Thank you.
After Lee Tuzignant is Crystal Tuzignant.
Back to back. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. I'm going to pay you the courtesy that you refused to extend to Dr. Hansen and Ms. Correa. I'm going to look you in the eye when we talk about this. Now, my name's Lee. I grew up in this district. I grew up right over by Linda Vista High School. Used to ride my bike every single day. I went to Santiago Charter Middle School. I was in 7th grade, actually.
In my class.
In her class. I was in 7th grade, actually, when my dad was a founding charter board member of Santiago Charter Middle School. We had to wear uniforms that next year. I was a little disappointed. It turned out to be the best thing ever. I was also the captain of the second worst football team in El Medina High School history. I have roots deep in this district. I have 3 kids that attend school in this district. I used to give a ride home from school to one of you sitting on the dais right now. And what I will say is this. There's a difference between legal and ethical. Those are values that were instilled in me by OUSD educators. Those are values that I uphold and try to pass on to my children every single day. I speak for a living. I have notes in my pocket. I have never been shaking this hard standing at a microphone. What you have done is betray the trust of the people that put you in those chairs. There is zero question about the cowardice, underhandedness, and frankly, crappiness of what you have done here. You are doing this because you came to this position with a predisposed outcome that you already had in mind. So, my legal opinion would be don't delete the emails that I'm sure exist where you corroborated on this ahead of time, because that, I'm sure you will verify, is very illegal. You are going to cost this district, our teachers, my kids, millions of dollars in litigation, in the buyout of the contracts, and in now a recall vote that is going to have to happen. It's disappointing. It is disappointing that you would not have the guts to look these humans in the eye, to tell them that you don't respect them enough to continue the good work that they've been doing for my kids, and instead install some joke that you decided a long time ago was necessary. I feel sorry for you that you felt the need to betray and to lie to and to disappoint not just the people in this room, but the thousands and thousands of families that we represent. My dad is a man of very few words. I take after my mom. But there is never a more pointed thing than I've ever seen my dad say than when asked how something could have come to be. All he said was disappointing. Thank you.
After Crystal is Jean Matson.
Hi, I'm Crystal Tuesnot, his wife. I'm not nearly as eloquent as he is, but I am just as much, if not more, fired up about this topic. I have 3 small children, a kindergartner, just starting their career with OUSD at Serrano Elementary School. I am the current Serrano Elementary School Parent-Faculty Organization president. And I am deeply saddened and dismayed that a few members of this board felt that bringing this issue up in this manner was an appropriate way to do this. I wonder what cause, if any, could have come about in the last 22 days since your last meeting, being that 20 of those days school has not been in session. That the 2 employees in question have not even been given the courtesy to be here, and the fiscal irresponsibility that the over $600,000 in salaries that would have to be paid out, let alone litigation that is definitely coming your way, will be put on the members of this community, the families, the taxpayers, the teachers, and the administrators at our schools. This does not even begin to scratch the surface of the damage it will do to my children, our children, since it's pretty clear that many, if not most of you, do not have kids that attend these schools. Thank you.
Next up is Jean Matson, and after that is Cynthia Hicks.
Good afternoon. I don't normally get involved in this. I have lived in Orange since 1989. We are property owners. Our children went to school here. We have a small business here. I pay lots of property taxes here. I also am a teacher. I've been with the district for quite a while. So I have a lot of vested interests in what happens in Orange Unified, and I keep track of all of it as much as I can. I was shocked last night when my husband came across this story in the Orange County Register. I have absolutely no idea why you would want to cause the kind of disruption that you're going to our schools, first of all. All of the things I'm learning about the whereabouts of Dr. Hansen and Ms. Carella are very shocking and disappointing. I would think that they would have had to have, professionally been given some sort of notice of this. And I can't, for the life of me, in my interactions with them, think of anything so horrible that they would have done to deserve this. And leadership, I can't think of how many superintendents, there have been many superintendents in Orange County, in Orange Unified since I've been living here. And Dr. Hansen is one of the most stable and forward-thinking people. I'm, as an employee, I think all of the employees are probably pretty well shaken over this because, again, the why is the big question, the whatever has happened. All of us come to school every day. We work really hard, and we appreciate having strong leadership. Ms. Carella has just reached out to almost every single teacher individually to try and help them be the best teachers we can be. And she would be missed more than I can even say. So, not trying to insult any of you, because I know you all have obviously good intentions. Running for school board running for school board and being on the school board is no joke. I understand that. It's a lot of work. But I just think that really giving this some time and some thought would be for your future, for our future, for the children's future, not to say the future of Dr. Hansen and Ms. Carella. I just think this is really a very, very ill plotted move, and I certainly hope that you will reconsider what you're doing. Thank you.
After Cynthia Hicks is Linda Horist.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Hicks. I'm a current parent of a current OUSD student, and I have one who graduated and will be graduating from UCLA this June. They received outstanding educations, and I feel that Superintendent Hansen is one of the best superintendents we've had during my children's tenure in OUSD. I was shocked and dismayed, and I think it's a despicable way to try to do something like this. I'm echoing what everyone else said before me. It's a waste of taxpayer money. It's a waste of time. There is no reason that something like this should be done in this manner. And I don't know what you're thinking. I don't understand it. She is receiving awards. She's received accolades. She is one of the best administrators we've had in a long, long time. And I think you're setting a very bad precedent, and you're going to make Orange Unified one of the laughingstock districts in the county. And I will be glad when my daughter graduates in a couple of years, because I don't want to have anything to do with this if you proceed with this action that you propose to take. Thank you.
After Linda Horist is Jessica Nettles.
Good evening, school board members and staff. My name, as you heard, is Linda Horist. My 3 children are OUSD grads, and I volunteered, then subbed, and taught in the district for over 27 years. During my teaching tenure, I had the honor of being named Orange Unified Teacher of the Year. then Orange County Teacher of the Year, and ultimately represented the entire state as California Teacher of the Year. Every year since then, I have had the opportunity to meet with educators and the state superintendent on a wide range of topics. During these workshops and forums, it has been a true honor to represent Orange Unified. Our district's name is synonymous with strength, excellence, fiscal responsibility, forward thinking, and putting the students first. That positive opinion that other districts have of Orange Unified, that was not just built on the backs of the teachers and staff, but the stellar leadership of our superintendents leading the way and unifying us during difficult times. Tonight, my heart is breaking, along with so many others, for a last-minute meeting that's clearly strategic and orchestrated during our winter break. These leaders that you want to replace because they don't align with your agenda, they are the very same leaders that peers statewide seek out for their knowledge. These leaders that you're willing to use unnecessary district funds to get rid of, and then even more money for a search to replace, they are the very same leaders whose programs and strategies are emulated in other districts from San Diego to Sacramento. These leaders that I can't even point to in the room today because they're out of the country and can't even be present during the sneak timing of this special meeting, they are the same ones who have been able to get the job done when even unseemingly impossible circumstances have stood in their way. This is not the district that I proudly represent as California Teacher of the Year. It is a travesty that will have repercussions on our district's reputation for years to come. Choose the best interests of the students instead of political grandstanding, please.
On deck is Vicki Mole.
Dear OUSD board members, I am a parent of 2 small children that go to elementary school in the district. We specifically searched out, I have to stop. You guys look bored. And that is insulting. You look like you are practically packed, I'm sure. But you look bored, and please do not insult us parents, us teachers, and the people that care. And with that smug smile, please do not be so condescending. As a parent of 2 small children in this district, we chose carefully because the OUSD values and education was high in standard. We learned from the PTA, and as a PTA parent in the last few years, I've become more involved. I am appalled and saddened, but not shocked, as I've been watching Mr. Ledesma's attempt to call a special meeting to discuss this discipline dismissal release of the superintendent and assistant special attendant of education. Why is this happening during break? By the way, the fact that you don't know when our break is why there is a recall. By the way, there's a recall, and everyone should find it and get on board. Okay, moving on. So, we have been fortunate to have such a high caliber superintendent who has gone above and beyond to support our schools and children's needs, and we are better because of her service. This is a ploy and a childish act with adult consequences. And if anyone should and is being considered for dismissal, it's you. Mr. Ledesma, you have not served OUSD with integrity and you're committing acts that undermine the growth and productivity of our school staff and my child and our children. You are a risk to our fair, well-minded, and you are tired and so tired of your negligence. You're ready to leave the moment you arrive. You do not visit our schools. You do not know what's going on the ground level. You dismiss us like there's nothing more important. You ask to remove meetings. Instead, you add this meeting. Last meeting I watched, you removed meetings like this was nothing. You took special needs meetings and you said, oh, just change them. Do you know how much planning? No, because you didn't even know when winter break was. I'm self-employed and I'm here today despite the cost of me, and I think you should be ashamed, and I think this is ridiculous.
On deck is Tara Barrow Randall.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for allowing me to speak today. My name is Vicky Mole. I am a teacher in Orange Unified. I teach at El Medina High School. I have taught at Orange High School. 5 of my children have gone through the schools, and I currently have a 6th, Leilani, who's a senior at El Medina. So, and thanks to everybody for speaking. Wow, tremendous speeches. I wish my classes were here to hear all this. So secret meeting, 24 hours notice, school employees and students on vacation. Eek. The only thing I can compare it to besides recent hyperbolic neighboring school districts' tactics is when my kids were in trouble and I wanted to make a point of how mad I was. I called a secret last-minute meeting when it was inconvenient for everyone. I wanted to make everyone uncomfortable and put everyone on alert, just so they knew I was in charge. While effective in scaring my children at the moment, it did nothing to create trust, loyalty, respect, and certainly not a family. It also caused duplicitous, survival-type behavior in my children, which was unhealthy. Probably not healthy for a district either. Since yesterday, I have been thinking about what these human beings could have done to deserve no warning and to be blindsided like this while on vacation. A vacation that they planned thoughtfully and responsibly. And then I started thinking about who said they did what they did and differing ideologies and proof. And then I thought about more proof. And then I thought about Arthur Miller and the Crucible, and 2 of the most famous witch hunts in American history, both caused by lies and fear. And proof, as you know, is an ambiguous concept when a decision has already been made. And it's ugly business, not the business of raising kids, trust, family, and a growing community. And when it's mixed with supposed knowledge and religion, I don't know. So I've worked with Superintendent Hansen, and I know she's an honest, hardworking, respectable superintendent. I have worked with Kathleen Corella, and her support of all things OUSD has been exemplary. Both employees deserve their honorable positions without a doubt. Today, I will also bring you a little legacy. I think the last time something so openly underhanded like this happened was in 1999, when our Orange Unified School District voted for raises for the first 7 steps of the teacher pay scale, but not the rest. That move caused a teacher strike and such widespread distrust from which we have only recently been recovering. I feel as though some of you who planned today would not be happy if I scheduled an exam with my students on January 8th, the day before we return to school, without prior knowledge of material. In fact, I feel as though a few of you may contact the school board about the unfairness of such a practice. I hope they are receptive to what you have to say. Thank you.
On deck is Rana Weltman.
Hello, school board. My name is Tara Randall. I've been an educator in Orange Unified since 2001. This is my first time speaking at a board meeting. I'm very comfortable speaking in front of 6-year-olds, not so much in front of board members. But I needed to be here today because the last few years since March 2020 have been my hardest years as an educator. I imagine most of my colleagues in this room and those who weren't here today would agree. And we were led by Dr. Hansen through the hardest time in many of our careers. Thank you. I have nothing but positive things to say about her leadership and her teams. I'm proud to be a member of the Orange Unified School District. I've taught at 3 different schools here. We work hard, all of us, down here at this level, and it's just feels shameful to think that someone like Dr. Hansen would be treated in this manner. I appreciate you listening to all of us. I hope that you'll really consider all of the statements before you today, because I think this packed room shows you what the community really feels. Thank you.
On deck, next was Rana Weltman. And then after that is Marie Lubers.
Hello, how do you do? My name is Rana Weltman. First of all, my kids are in their 30s, and so I've been around the block a few times in many school board meetings and a very active volunteer. And I've never in my history volunteering in schools seen a school board meeting where it was obvious that the majority of the trustees were hostile toward the teachers and the parents. It's just a new experience to me. It's just unprecedented. It's shocking. I just wanted to also reflect on this past election and elections before, where some of our trustees have talked about respecting parents' rights. They ran on that. And this is so obviously being done without consulting with parents. This is the opposite of listening to parents and giving them voice. And I'm also very aware, just looking in the meeting, how many teachers there are. And I have never seen such contempt for teachers' wishes from a school board. It's just shocking. I also just don't like recall elections. I just think they're just horrible for so many reasons. And I got to tell you, I'm thinking, this is a kickoff meeting for a recall, if ever I have seen one. Thank you.
After Marie is Brittany. No last name.
Hello, I'm here to support Superintendent Gunn Marie Hansen and Assistant Superintendent Kathleen Corella. The PTA of, I live in Tustin, I don't live in Orange, but my kids went to school there. The PTA of Orange County named Hansen the top administrator of the year. She received outstanding performance evaluation, and she could be fired. I'm here also because I don't want the district to pay millions of dollars to fire an excellent and devoted worker. Finally, I'm here to protest against the means used by the people who want to fire Hansen and Corella. 35 years ago, as I became American, I thought I was in a democracy. But when I see what is happening here, I think I am in the Soviet Union. So you fire people who don't think like you. You don't give notice in advance. You don't give reasons. This is where we are going if you, the board, fire excellent workers without any valid reason, just to obey the wishes of anti-democratic extremists. So our democracy is really in danger.
So the next one was Brittany with no last name. After that was Britt with no last name. After that is Sarah Pelly. And on deck is Kim Vanderhoek. Vanderhoek.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, are you ahead of me?
Sarah Pelly is
Pelly's first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go for
thought I was up. Sorry.
No, Brittany.
Good evening, OUSD board members. I'm Sarah Pelly, proud principal of Fletcher Mandarin Language and Gate Academy. And also a concerned OUSD resident. After watching C-SPAN over the last few days, which some of you may have, and the attempt to elect a new Speaker of the House, it occurred to me, when someone becomes an elected official, they're granted instant power. And with that power comes responsibility. However, they're not immediately given instant information, knowledge, or even wisdom. Those things take time and effort for all of us, as does making informed decisions. I respectfully acknowledge that I work for you, the Orange Unified School Board of Trustees. And this is your decision to make. However, I also respectfully suggest that you please not make this decision in haste. And first collect as much information as you can to ensure this decision is what's best for kids, the mantra that has been my barometer for my entire 34 years in education. I invite you all, each one of you, to please come to my school, Fletcher Academy. My teachers want you to come too. Please see firsthand the amazing learning that's taking place there and the wonderful, rich programs we have, including our Mandarin Dual Immersion program, just one of many. But these things are in place thanks to the years of dedication of Dr. Hansen and Mrs. Corella and others, two of the greatest leaders with whom I have ever worked in 34 years. While I'm only speaking on my own behalf, I'm certain my fellow principals would invite you to their schools as willingly as I to see more great things happening in OUSD. Please come to our schools and see firsthand. Making a decision now without having witnessed firsthand what is actually happening in our OUSD schools would not only be in haste, but it would cause a disruption in learning that would be detrimental to our students, to my students. Trustee Rumsey, as a teacher, you know the negative effects that major changes to personnel and programs can have in the middle of a school year. It's the middle of a school year. As a principal, I'm deeply concerned, and please ask you to consider finding out some information. Come see what's going on in the schools before you make your decision. Thank you for your time, and Happy New Year.
On deck is David Stevens.
Hi, my name is Kim Vanderhoek. I'm a longtime OUSD parent with a senior graduating from Elmo this year. I'm here tonight to express my strong opposition to the firing of our superintendent and assistant superintendent. As a member of the community, I'm deeply concerned by the lack of transparency and communication surrounding this decision. It is unacceptable that parents and the public were not notified in a timely manner about this decision. This is a clear violation of the platform of public transparency and parental rights that you as trustees ran on. Furthermore, it is deeply concerning that the reason for Dr. Hansen's firing has not been stated. This lack of transparency only serves to create uncertainty and concern amongst parents and the community. I would also like to remind the board of the glowing review that President Rick Ledesma gave of Dr. Hansen in a December 2017 press release. In it, he stated that she is an incredible asset to the district with excellent communication skills, ethical leadership, and the ability to think outside the box. He also noted her success in establishing the first Mandarin immersion school in Orange County and her dedication to the community. Those are your words, sir. Given these positive remarks and Dr. Hansen's proven track record of success, it's clear that this firing is unjustified. I urge the board I urge the board to reconsider this decision and prioritize transparency and communication in all future actions. That's the platform you all ran on. Thank you.
After David Stevens is Stacy Strong Ortega.
Hello, I've lived in Orange for 36 years, and my son went through the schools here from kindergarten to 12th grade, and he's a doctor now, and I think this is a great system. You can go all the way with just with the teachers and the schools here, and I'm impressed by Superintendent Hansen's handling of this terrible pandemic period. I think it was rough on everybody, and she got everything back on track as quickly. And I think that you should reconsider if you know to let her stay here and continue her good work. And I also think that it's strange to be doing this while they're out of the country. I think that they should be able to be here and defend themselves against whatever this is. And I just hope that you'll reconsider and let them stay.
After Stacy is Wendy Forrest.
Hello, I'm Stacy Strong Ortega. Yeah, there's that. I have spent my entire career, I know I look young, but trust me, it's been a while, working here at Orange Unified. I have learned from the best, there you are, and I have experienced so much here. The first year I started, we went on strike. First year teacher on strike, what is that? Now I get it. The way that you are choosing to use your new found power is nauseating. You have been put here at the trust of not just the people in this room, but the entire community, many of whom could not get off work to be here to discuss this with you. How dare you use your power like that in a district that has raised up a community, that has brought such pride and just opportunity to so many, that you are now going to try, right? To remove two of the most amazing women leaders this district has seen in years. People who have pushed forth the ability for other people to better themselves, who have put into place programs that you wouldn't even want to read about because they're too scary for you to see. Please remember that we are with many of you up there, and we will fight hard to make sure that the people we know are doing their best work, dedicating their lives to the betterment of this community, lives. What you are trying to do is change people's lives for the worse, and I really hope that you will think twice tonight and think about what your new job is and how it is going to affect so many, not just the two people you're sneakily trying to get rid of. Orange Unified teachers and community members, we've got this. You've got this, everybody. Let's do it.
On deck is Jim Nelson.
Good afternoon. My name is Wendy Forrest. I'm a parent of OUSD student and soon to be TK student in the fall. So we'll have two children in the OUSD system. I'm also an enthusiastic and lifelong supporter of public education. I am thrilled that I was able to go to public education and was supported by a mom who was very active in support of that public education. I am not a teacher. That was proved very clear during the remote learning experience that I have been able to participate in. I was, however, given the opportunity to have a fantastic first grade teacher when we were back in the classroom last year, and now I have a second grade teacher who is finally getting something quote unquote normal in OUSD. I started in TK, which was 2019-2020, so we really don't know anything different than what we've had to do, and what we've had to do is change. Change is scary, it always is. With change comes strong leadership, and those leaders rise to the top. Running for office requires leadership. Making hard decisions requires leadership. People have said the word leader and leadership over and over again tonight. We need those strong leaders to unify our organization, our parents, our children. Unify means come together and compromise and find common ground. Doing something like this, and I'm sure lots of thought went into it. I can't judge someone's thoughts. I don't know them, I'm not in their head, but I can say that this is not the answer. We need to be able to come together and work together because our children will suffer. And I can't handle that. I can't let my child suffer because of decisions where adults can't compromise and can't come to the table and go, hey, we don't see eye to eye, but what can we agree on? And I guarantee that 99% of the time, we can all agree on serving our children first. First. Before anything else. Even if my child doesn't agree with me, that's her thoughts. That's their thoughts. So please, I implore you to consider the damage that the decisions that can be made in this room will cause our children. That's it. Thank you.
Jen Nelson. And then on deck is Amber Badalian.
Thank you all for hearing me, and I'd love to thank everybody for coming, overflowing out of the room here, and I guarantee you, that's not even close to the number of people who are going to be coming back on this and pushing back on this. You're going to have the entire district of parents and their families who are going to push back. With that, I'm a father of a senior. He's a wrestler at Almadena High School. He's been an honor roll student in the district since the 7th grade. Closer to the mic. Closer to the mic. He's one of the top wrestlers on the team, qualifying for CIF last year. On his junior year, first year in varsity. Even last night, we had our big rival against Villa Park. It was an upset. We beat them by 1 point. My son was one of the wrestlers who got a pin to score as the most points you can get towards the team. Last night against a guy who was a lot bigger than him. My son has autism. Having autism, he required a lot of help, a lot of programs that were by the district, and we had to fight for a lot of them. And when we had people, staff members, that were not cooperating, where did we go? We went to the superintendent. And I'm sure a lot of you on the board know my name and my wife's name and my son's name because you've all seen our emails. You'll probably be happy that he's graduating this year. But everything we've done has become a success for him, and he's become a very successful young man. Even this year, we had some problems with one of the programs, and I'm not going to mention with who, but one of the faculty members. A lot of it ended up misunderstandings, but a lot of it was we felt he was not being treated fairly. We tried to get things done, at certain levels, and we always go to the next level, and we write emails on another level, and then that's when you guys start hearing from us. Again, we went to the superintendent. Superintendent and her assistant were right on it. And not only, and we were at a point where we didn't know, we were requesting investigations on what was happening for the unfair treatment, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And this could have really resulted in a big legal case, reportings to the federal and state organizations. You know who got us out of this? Your superintendent and their assistant, both right on it. They saved the district probably millions of dollars. And guess what? I'm sorry if I'm going over my time, this is important. They didn't only do that, but they turned everything around. They actually saved the person's job who we thought was the problem, turned around our relationship, made everything all better. My son is now more confident, has less anxiety, and he is kicking some butt. He represents the school well because the district has treated him the way he needed to be, and that was all because of the people that you're about to get rid of. And with all the support from all love and all these parents and teachers and all the successes that they've had, this smells of corruption. I can't imagine any other reason for this. Thank you for hearing.
On deck is Kurt Davis.
Hello, my name is Amber Badalian, and I'm a 23-year veteran teacher at Orange Unified School District. I actually work down the street at Handy. I am speaking on behalf of myself, my colleagues who are unable to attend this meeting, and my students. I am extremely concerned about the possibility of Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Corella being dismissed from their current positions in Orange Unified School District. Both Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Corella continually exemplify the OUSD core values of excellence in academics and leadership, dedicated and engaged communication, genuine wellness and safety, efficient utilization of fiscal capital. Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Corella help to ensure our students have access to challenging curriculum that helps promote their lifelong success. This was immensely important during the COVID-19 pandemic. Both Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Corella were part of helping Orange Unified School District to be one of the first districts to offer in-person instruction. I am both shocked and disappointed that this meeting has been called on short notice. The potential amount of money, the dismissal of Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Corella, is money that needs to be spent on our students. Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Corella need to continue to be able to perform their vital roles in Orange Unified School District. Thank you.
On deck is Lynn Marie Frediani.
Hello, I am a former OUSD student, former OUSD parent. I remember reading recently about another district in Orange County going through this same situation, and I thought, boy, I'm really glad that kind of underhanded partisan maneuvering isn't happening in the district where I came from. And here we are. You're not attempting to disguise what you're doing. Less people showed up tonight than would have shown up if you had scheduled a regular meeting to do this with the people involved in attendance. So you succeeded in that regard. However, this isn't over. This is the beginning. It's not going to go well for those of you who are attempting to do this. And you'll probably succeed tonight in the closed session where we can't be, but that's fine, because it's not the end. So good luck to you all.
On deck is Amy Case.
Hello. I came up here with a whole speech and to talk about all of the wonderful things about Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Correa. But actually, I think I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to leave that part out because we know that part and people have done a beautiful job of that. I am a student of Orange OUSD. My kids graduated from OUSD, so lived here for 50 years. And very proud of what I've got from OUSD and my children. However, I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room. Why? Why is this going on? We know why, and we actually have someone that told us why during our last campaign. We have a slate that ran, 2 won, 2 did not. Well, of the 2 that won, and then the one that did not told everybody during the campaign, told someone. Well, what is the first thing if you guys get the board majority on the OUSD school board? And he said right up front, our job will be to get rid of the superintendent and put one that is more in line with our values of charter schools, classical education, and religion. That is a problem. That is a huge problem. We know what's going on. No one said it, I'm saying it. Like I said, I'm going off. You guys have an obligation. You have your own integrity, which by some displays tonight, you obviously don't care about how people perceive you or how you're viewed in your presentation. But it will continue, and it's your integrity that is on the line in what you're doing. Who are your puppeteers and who's pulling the strings? Who owns you? You will tell us that tonight. Thank you.
On deck is Mary Thomas Valens.
Hello, I'm Amy Case, and I'm the parent of 2 amazing OUSD grads. Yay! All right, sorry, it's not about me, it's about the kids. So for 16 years, I've been a community leader. I've dedicated over 20,000 hours of volunteer service to this district to ensure that all OUSD students have the amazing education they deserve. I worked at Crescent Elementary PTA, Canyon High School Foundation, Orange Public Schools Foundation, and on the Measure S bond campaign. Our volunteer teams have raised $2 million for this district and for our kids, and this is ridiculous. I'm here because you guys are wrong. You are wrong. This decision is the wrong decision. And I'm just so disappointed. I've given so much of my adult life to this district and to these kids to have you just throw it away.
On deck is Soren Williams.
I'm Mary Thomas Valens. I'm a 41-year veteran teacher, a parent, and I'm now faculty at Concordia University. And I never get emotional, and here it is, because I love education. Now, as a student teacher supervisor for the university, I visit classrooms all over Orange County. And despite what buzz makes the news, I witness teachers and staff all across this county working so hard to teach our students and the skills they need to survive. And the focus has been mentioned by many. Do what's best for kids. That has been my mantra. So I looked on the Orange Unified website to see what the Board of Education website page states, and I quote, "The decisions of your elected officials affect your child's future, the well-being of the community, and to the greater extent, the welfare of our country." That's what's on your school board website, a direct quote. I copied it, pasted it right there. So I interpret this as what I believe. Do what's best for kids and the community. So I just come here with a few simple questions. Is changing leadership mid-year best for students? No. Is changing leadership to help teachers and staff, every employee of this district, every parent who volunteers, allow them to do what's best for kids? Or will it add disruption, confusion, and more stress in some of the most stressful years I've experienced? The issues we face are complicated, and they require calm, reasoned, and thoughtful discussion and careful consideration by all parties involved. Let us know why this is so important to you. It doesn't need to be in secret. Why is this important? Let's understand. And therefore, I ask the last question. What are the unintended consequences of whatever actions you are taking today? Will you truly be doing what's best for kids? Or is there a wiser, better pathway forward? And smart and intelligent human beings are able to change course when they have the humility to realize that they are walking in the wrong direction. That takes bravery, and I challenge you to be brave.
On deck is Long Duong.
Hello to the good members of the board and you other four. I've been an OUSD parent for about 10 years. I have kids in elementary, middle school, and high school right now. Every year I devote hundreds of hours for multiple functions and teams. I'm supposed to be dealing with a team right now. Instead, I'm here talking to you yokels. I and the parents in this room should be spending time with our children right now. Instead, we're trying to talk down just some, I don't know, corrupt officials here. I don't know what you are anymore. Dr. Hansen has obviously done wonders for this district. I've seen it personally in the 10 years that I've been here. That you would fire her tells us a lot about your morals and your ethics. It's petty, and it shows contempt for the parents, the kids, and the teachers in this district. And it's pretty sick, really. So the board members, Ledesma, Ortega, Rumsey, and Minor, are bankrolled by California Policy Center and Mark Bucher. They're a hyper-partisan dark money group, very, very right-wing, hate teachers. They also founded the Orange County Classical Academy, which John Ortega and Rick Ledesma voted for, and the disgraced Brenda Lebsack, who had to resign because of her bigoted comments. So you four are a very unique group, and it's pretty disgusting, actually. I've also read that OCCA, Orange County Classical Academy, uses Mark Bucher's construction company for their work there. So my tax dollars are going to Mark Bucher to go to California Policy Center to bankroll you bigots. So that sounds like a conflict of interest, and that sounds like malfeasance. So why don't you, instead of doing this, investigate OCCA? Because that sounds like something weird's going on there. There's also a rumor that this board will install Stephen Bean or some other, California Policy Center hack. So I guess my question is, when was this decided this was going to happen? And who do you work for? Do you work for the California Policy Center and Mark Bucher, or do you work for the parents and teachers and students here? So at best, this meeting feels like a deceptive, cowardly act. At worst, it feels like an illegal act. I am disgusted and horrified at the ignorance and incompetence of this new board majority.
On deck is Rosa Otero.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Long. I've got 2 kids in the district, elementary and middle school. I'm pretty regular. I'm not, super teacher like I've heard so many here. I'm just like a regular parent, and I saw this. Now, I do volunteer, and I volunteer for Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and I'm always looking for teachable moments. And that's why I went up there and took a picture of you guys. Because this is a teachable moment. Because you've failed us as parents in teaching our kids. What you're doing is absolutely, you've already heard it. You're not even caring, you're not even listening. But you know what? I will do my part. I've taken your picture. I will share that picture with our scouts, with whoever will listen, and share what corruption looks like. And it looks like this tonight. Ridiculousness. Thank you.
On deck is Emily Lawrence.
Hello, my name is Rosa Otero. I'm a 25-year resident here in Orange. I have a 26-year-old who went through the OUSD school district, and I have my first grader who last year attended. I came here last year. I was attending these meetings. I do remember the opposite was happening. We had a lot of parent-friendly people that were very angry about what was happening with the board, that we were locked down, the masks, the vaccines. A lot was happening. I remember that. I was here. So, and I remember the board members shuffling their paperwork. I remember people talking amongst themselves, which were bored, and we were ignored. We as parents were ignored. So I can testify for myself of having last year a kindergartner and my other daughter, my oldest, having gone to school here, that yes, you're absolutely right. It used to be great. It used to be a good school district. A lot of the teachers were definitely focused on math, reading. A lot of our curriculum, our test scores was really, really focused. But what happened? What happened to us as a district? Because we've gone down. Our test scores have gone down, our graduation rates, yes, it has. Yes, it has. Yes, so I am speaking right now, unless you want to give me more time.
Excuse me, please. Please, just, everyone has been able to speak freely and without interruption.
So just as much as you guys had your voice, you guys came here and you guys voiced in agreement that what the board was doing previously. We had a liberal majority before, and now we're moving in a different direction. I do believe we need some change. It's been years that we've had the same superintendent. Why not try to change something? Because I'm Hispanic, and from the Hispanic community that our children go to, it's lower. It is lower.
Please. Folks,
no,
come on.
It is lower. I still have time. I still have time. So no, I said I'm Hispanic, and I said our kids that go to the Latino schools, our grades are much lower than the others. We're not getting the funding. We're not getting a lot of the programs that we need. Why? Because the last 4 years, the funding was going to other things. Whether it was solar, whether it was SEL that was just approved, a lot of other things were being approved. Instead of actually tutoring for our kids, more resources for our teachers, our kids were suffering. So all we're asking for is a little bit of change. And you know what? If that's been years of having the same pro quo, then change for the better. Give it a chance, because we've already seen what's happened with our schools, and it's not just one. It's all of our district has started to go down. Count the college graduation rates.
Folks, we all know that there are people here in the audience that are of different minds, right? They're on different, so please. Listen. Yeah. Civility clause, take that, all right? We got a civility clause here, so don't let me bring that out. So listen, there needs to be respect for no matter what side is talking, there needs to be respect. I can always close this meeting and we can go into closed session. It's up to you folks. It's up to the audience. The audience has control of this meeting in terms of whether we continue or stop. All right, now listen. You are in charge of this meeting whether or not we continue or we go off to closed session. So there's got to be respect on both sides, no matter what you're hearing. Thank you.
May I say something, Mr. Ledesma?
Yes.
I do want to echo what Mr. Ledesma is saying, actually. I am very interested in what you're saying, and I'm fearful that Mr. Ledesma will close this meeting down.
Definitely.
If it's too crazy.
In a heartbeat.
I really want to hear from you. So just give everybody the respect that they need to be able to say
Let's have
what
it.
they mean. Thank
In
you.
a heartbeat, I will close this meeting. You ready? Are you ready?
If I can.
Are you ready?
If I can just say my last sentence, that I was cut off by the group. So,
Please.
Like I said, I myself I campaigned, I worked hard because I didn't like the way our district was going. It was so good for a long time. And all I'm saying is the schools that I've visited, that I've spoken with the Latino parents, no, you guys, You guys shut me up. You guys talked over
Okay,
me.
can you please summarize? I'm sorry.
Okay, basically, our schools are not getting the funding and the support we need. We just want some change to make better improvements in our schools. That's it.
We probably have about 2 more hours of cards, or hour and a half. So we'll decide here. You guys decide whether or not we get to hear all these cards or not, okay? Thank you. Please.
Hi, my name is Emily. I am a product of the Orange Unified School District. Went here from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And just quickly to address previous speaker about things being wonderful. Things are like, let's take off our rose-colored glasses. Things are never wonderful. There's good and there's bad and there's balance. But there's also leadership. So I'm going to go back to what I prepared to say. So I'm a parent of 3 Orange Unified students. I work full-time for a youth-serving organization that's main goal is to develop leadership. And then I spend pretty much every other waking second volunteering to support children. In fact, I learned about this surprise meeting last night while I was on a committee meeting of other parents volunteering to support children. I am basically at my children's school 3 nights a week volunteering, and I just really feel that what you're proposing to do is a wasteful abuse of power on the backs of 28,000 students in Orange Unified School District at a time when students are already facing so many challenges. The fact that you are essentially wasting vital funds. So yes, we all need funding. That is like every single program that is funded by taxpayers needs more, right? Like, I wish we could make money. But you are essentially, what you're gonna do today is wasting those vital funds that are available. And honestly, you're really doing it to pull a, quite frankly, unoriginal stunt. Like, you're literally following a playbook, a political playbook. And part of what I do in working with youth, when I volunteer with youth, with different youth-serving organizations, is all about developing values, because I really feel strongly that the values that we instill in our children today will affect the future for all of us. I feel like what you are doing is a disgrace to those values. And honestly, a disgrace to the values of public education as a whole, a disgrace to our country. The very methods being employed today are deeply questionable and devoid of any decency. So on behalf of my children, all of the children that I serve in my volunteer roles, I am deeply disappointed in this misuse of power. And I ask each of you to really think deeply about your own character as you go into this next portion. And I hope that you can come out feeling that you have upheld the values and the priorities of children in this district.
So we have Darshan Smolodin. Darshan Smolodin is next, and then Kelly Todak is after Mr. Smolodin. Miss Smolodin, sorry.
Hello, my name is Darshan Smolodin, for those who it's a little hard to say. Good afternoon, board, or good evening at this point. First-time caller, long-time listener. I'm the parent of one current OUSD student, and I'm also the parent of 2 OUSD graduates, and I want to talk about those for a couple of seconds, because 1, I'm a proud mom, and 2, I think it has a point. One of my children is successfully adulting, and he works, and the other is at a top 20 university in the country. I want to bring that up because, again, proud mom, but also I want to thank OUSD. I have to stop. A couple of his teachers are here. Thank you, teachers. I want to thank OUSD for their part in his acceptance. It was a school with a 9% acceptance rate. It's hard, okay? When COVID had everything shut down, and I know I had to send an email about this, I couldn't get my son an SAT test, and he needed one for his admittance, which I know not all schools did, but he did. I want to thank Dr. Hansen, who isn't here, for making that happen for a lot of OUSD students that year. She does that a lot. She makes things happen when it helps our kids. So I want to thank that. And then When reviewing his application, one of the things, besides his stellar grades, that helped him make him an attractive candidate was his completion of the AP Capstone program at El Medina. Yay. We know that this was true because the admissions officer commented and commended him on it. So I want to thank Kathleen Corella and the entire curriculum department for offering programs that are designed for a small portion of students, but really help those kids. So I want to also thank everyone for developing, advocating for, and supporting curriculum for kids that will go straight into the workforce like my other son. But it is because of my youngest that I'm here. And she's still a student at OUSD, and your decisions impact her life and my life. So she's still here, so I'm still here. And I want to ask the board, why are you here? Because at this moment, it seems like you're here for a political agenda, and I'm here to say we, the parents of OUSD, don't want it. One of the strengths of that Dr. Hansen has shown time and time again is her ability to not wade into these political waters. Why are you trying to drown her in them? The facts are OUSD weathered the pandemic better than most large districts, in a large part to our leadership team. OUSD is in a better financial position than when Dr. Hansen took the helm, which is evidenced in our upgraded credit rating. In closing, I want to say, Ms. Rumsey, you're a teacher. Don't do this to our kids, please. That's it.
On deck is Lisa Shipman.
Hi, I'm Kelly Todak, and as a parent with children in 2 OUSD schools, this is not how I envisioned spending the last few days of winter break. But once again, it appears our school board is putting politics above principles. Why else would our current superintendent and assistant superintendent of educational services be in danger of losing their jobs? Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella have served admirably through the pandemic and beyond. They provided the leadership and resources to help teachers and students pivot to distance learning. They reopened our schools much sooner than other districts. They have been fiscally responsible. They have worked conscientiously to comply with state laws and emergency decrees, even when they have faced unwarranted criticism for doing so. Under what grounds should they be facing discipline, dismissal, or release? Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella deserve pay raises, not pink slips. If the OUSD trustees vote to release Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella from their positions, unlawful termination lawsuits are certain to follow. Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella are sure to prevail at a cost of millions of dollars to the district. But who wins in this situation? The board majority? Sadly, the stakeholders that matter, the taxpayers, the teachers, and above all, the students of OUSD will all lose. Since the onset of the pandemic, teachers have been leaving the profession in droves. If Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella are arbitrarily terminated, how many teachers and principals will feel compelled to leave OUSD? I urge the current board majority to refrain from making this wildly unpopular decision to terminate these 2 vital employees. Otherwise, do not be surprised if the citizens of Orange Unified demand a recall election for the seats of the OUSD trustees who are behind this.
On deck is Gregory Pleasance.
Oh, what? Wait.
You're Lisa Shipman.
You scared me. Okay. Hi,
And then
I'm
on
Lisa
deck.
Shipman, teacher, 6th grade, gotta love them. I do not do social media. I do not get up and talk because I do not regulate how I should speak properly. I know it, they know it, so I'm gonna do my best. I'd like to start out with, we all know there's no surprise on what you're gonna do in that closed meeting. We're getting up here and bleeding our hearts to you. We know that you're not listening. You've already made your mind up. Shame, shame, shame. You four, we got your number. We see you. When there's a recall, come on in my room. You can be an aide in my room. We constantly teach how to be a good person, how to be a good citizen. You'll be welcomed in. That's all I have to say. I'm so ashamed right now. Not you three. Thank you. Thank you for doing the research.
Gregory Pleasance, and then it's Teresa Nguyen.
Hi, I'm Gregory, and I want to give two sets of thanks. First, to the community that's spoken against what these four propose to do tonight. There's so much power in this room, and I'm so buoyed by it, and I thank you. Second, I want to thank Board Trustees Erickson and Yamasaki for your incisive questions at the beginning of the meeting. They were appropriate. They probably mitigated some of the legal liability this board has incurred on behalf of the county and the school system, which is a terrible thing. That's money out of our pockets and out of our kids' pockets. Second, I want to say that I have a stake. I have kids at Jordan Elementary, one kid and a second kid on the way, and I'm a member of the PTA at Jordan, and we've had a wonderful experience there. That's why it's so odious to see what's happening here. And I'm talking here to Minor, Ledesma, Rumsey, and the other fellow, Ortega. We understand that you are bankrolled by right-wing extremists and that you're pursuing a political project to destroy public education and siphon taxpayer money for religious private schools. I mean, we understand that. That's your agenda. And so, it's a direct threat to the well-being of our community and our children, and it's odious, and I hate it, and it's intolerable, and you're not going to get away with it. And so I want to look all four of you in the eye and tell you that. It's not going to happen. I also want to say that Jordan is wonderful. And I want to lift up the positivity of that too. My son comes home from Jordan. Whatever your CRT, parent choice, dog whistle stuff is happening, that's not what's really happening on the ground. My son comes home, he's learning Spanish, he's learning how to code, he's learning how to relate to his peers. He made me a candle for Christmas. That's what's happening at Jordan. That's what we need to lift up. And instead of focusing on your right-wing extremist political projects, let me give you some practical advice. We need to reduce classroom size. We need to upgrade our air conditioning facilities for the hot summers. Jordan needs some trees in the front to provide more shades for the kids. I'm sure that's true in other schools. You would know this, the four of you that I'm talking to, if you gave a whit about what's happening to these schools, because you don't. But if you did, you would know these are the practical things that we need. We need more audiovisual equipment. Last year, our PTA at Jordan Elementary, folks who don't have a dime to spare in their month-to-month, raised $5,000 to purchase audiovisual equipment for our school. That's chump change to you guys, but that's the kind of stuff that your resources and time and attention should be focused on, making our education and community practically stronger through real education resources, not your toxic right-wing agenda.
Teresa Nguyen is next, and then it is Tanya, no last name.
Hi, everybody. My name's Teresa. I'm Gregory's wife. I am certainly not as eloquent or brave as that man who just got up here and said a lot of things. As he said, I have a first grader at Jordan and an incoming kindergartner, and their program at Jordan is so excellent, that dual immersion program. And it makes me so proud to be a parent now at OUSD. And I know that the strength of that program is because of the leadership that was led. I'm gonna cry. I don't wanna cry in public by Dr. Hansen and Ms. Carolla. Because my principals tell me and my teachers tell us that they feel happy and proud to work for this district. And I see it in the joy in my son's face when he comes to school, even though it's hard for him. I am so mad. I did not know I was coming here today when I went to work this morning. But I'm so mad at what is happening, and I'm so mad at the waste that is happening for our school. For you, our parents who sit on this board, would you want the waste that you are about to make a decision on for the money, which is so precious? Precious money. Every dollar counts here, and we don't have the money to waste on a lawsuit. I do not understand as a parent why you would do that. Now I'm dripping boogers down my face. This is so mad that this action is also going to take away from the time that you all could be doing to make decisions to improve the quality and stability of our schools at a crucial time when stability and support is utterly needed for our schools. Not this. This isn't it, y'all. And I'm so mad that I feel so powerless. That I'm here to beg you to do the right thing. And change your mind. If you have it in your heart to take a moment to change your mind. And maybe specifically to you, Miss Madison Minor, because you are the district, you are the person who is representing my district. I don't know, what I could do to look at each one of you and ask you to do the right thing. And then I feel that I am so mad that I am suddenly compelled to put the time and energy, which I don't have as a parent of 2 small children, to support a recall, apparently, of Ledesma, Ortega, Rumsey, and Minor, who have led this action, or a teacher strike that's a potential, but I do feel in my heart that if this happens, that is what I will be doing.
So there's Tanya, no last name.
What's the first name?
Tanya is the first name, no last name. Whitney Amsbury. And after this is Eugene Fields.
Okay, good evening, school board members and staff. I just want to start first saying that I've counted 30 people supporting Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Corella, and 1 person who's spoken so far against. I'm Whitney Amsbury. I'm an Orange resident, parent of 2 OUSD grads, an OUSD teacher of 32 years, and former OUEA president. I've been around OUSD a long time and have seen it become a district with integrity. But with one action this evening, you can change that reputation. I'm angry and disappointed that I need to be speaking at this meeting. This is reminiscent of the shenanigans of what many of us refer to as the bad school board of the 90s. Unfortunately, I've come to expect this sneaky and disrespectful behavior from a couple of you. Shame on you. We need unity and collaboration, not politicking. How in the world is this in the best interest of OUSD students? Dr. Hansen and Mrs. Corella have kept OUSD on the right track. We've become a respectable and coveted school district under their leadership, which has not always been the case. We have beautiful school sites, respected and valued schools and staff with strong curriculums and programs because of Dr. Hansen and Mrs. Corella's leadership. OUSD is fiscally strong, which again hasn't always been the case. But instead of taking all these positives and continuing to build on that, you, in your infinite wisdom, have chosen to go back to the political games of the 1990s. I wish I had time to give you the history lesson you need so you don't repeat the past. Oh, wait, you don't believe in real factual history anyway. Getting rid of superintendents was a 90s thing in OUSD. I lost count of how many superintendents OUSD hired and then fired and had to pay out. OUSD bought out so many superintendent contracts, wasting so much money. You have the responsibility of spending my tax dollars wisely, and this is definitely not a wise choice. So I ask you again, how in the world is this in the best interest of OUSD students? So disappointing, and I'll remember this when I'm at the ballot box in 2024 or sooner.
On deck is Nicole Jones.
Good evening, honorable trustees and Superintendent Hanson in absentia. My name's Eugene Fields, and my wife and I are the parents of a first grader who attends Crescent Elementary. We usually watch the meetings online because we're putting our daughter to bed. We would have brought her here tonight, but knowing what this decision most likely will be and having to explain that to her, she probably would never want to go back to school. Before I address the board's intended action, I wanted to publicly thank Dr. Hanson for her work. My daughter was in TK during the pandemic, and Dr. Hanson made sure every student in this district got a tablet, a laptop, and a hotspot if they needed it, so students could continue to learn. Orange Unified School District was one of the first districts in this county to do that, drawing the envy of my friends who have children in the Irvine, Tustin, and Capo Unified School Districts. When she was legally allowed to, Dr. Hanson worked quickly to get kids back in the classroom. Again, this district was one of the first districts in the county to do so. Please look at me, because I took time off of work and time away from my daughter to be here. You owe me that. She got these kids back in class drawing the envy of all those other school districts. Finally, she took care of the teachers and the students by making sure that HEPA filters were in every classroom throughout the district. And this board questioned her on that expenditure. But it made kids and parents and teachers feel safe to go back into the classroom. Honorable board members, unlike so many others in this room, I am neither shocked nor surprised that we are here tonight in this hastily called meeting watching this spectacle. I am disappointed, however, that two members of this majority failed to learn from the prior mistakes of previous boards that they made in firing superintendents that severely cost this district money, resources, and expertise. I was a reporter for the Orange County Register newspaper when the last clown show named Steve Rocca was on this board. What is this district going to have to pay Dr. Hanson because of the fiscal recklessness of this decision? $300,000. That's money that can be spent in several other areas, like fixing the furnace at my child's school, where she has to wear a coat because the furnace doesn't work because you guys don't care about infrastructure. That's what our tax dollars go for. And I was trying to be civil. Many of you are supported by Family Action PAC, which I find extremely ironic, because this action would hurt families like mine. Like mine. I urge you to listen to the parents with students who have benefited from Dr. Hanson's work. Just because you can is not the cause to terminate these employees. Do your job by allowing Dr. Hanson to do hers. Thank you.
On deck is Jessica Prechtel.
Dear school board members, I usually start with a greeting for both you and the superintendent, but our superintendent isn't here. By design, I imagine. You scheduled a last-minute meeting during a school break when many of our parents and staff are gone. What about this agenda item could not wait another 4 days? I am currently a parent here in OUSD and familiar with most of you because I'm a longtime volunteer, worked on the bond. I've been around here a long time. But what I'm here to talk about is I've got firsthand success stories from OUSD. And Mrs. Miner, I looked at an interview that you did when you ran, and you said you weren't sure about student outcomes in OUSD. So I'm here to tell you what a student outcome is. My oldest daughter has been here since Kathleen Corella was running the GATE program when my daughter was in elementary school. She's in her 20s now. The advantages that Gunmarie Hansen and Kathleen Corella gave my daughter in terms of programming in her schools from elementary to high school enabled her to graduate with her bachelor's degree in 3 years and then get her master's in another 2 from UCLA. So these are the stories, and there's so many. And like Darshan said, bragging mom moment, but these are the stories that we have from our district. If you're looking for, what our district has done for our kids, this is what they have done for our kids. Our kids are successful across the board. And when I started my kids here, I questioned whether to bring them into OUSD because my kids were starting in the early 2000s, and OUSD did not have a good reputation. And so I looked into other options, and I am so glad I made the choice to come to Orange Unified. And I just pray that you will not make that choice a negative one now that I still have a child here. Back to my notes. Several of you ran on a platform of parent choice. So I am sure you will be interested to know that 4th District PTA, the parent group representing every PTA in Orange County and the largest parent group in the state of California, selected Dr. Hansen as Administrator of the Year only last spring. Yeah. She is the parent choice. I do not know who you are considering, but anyone who does not have such accolades would only be a step down. We would be doing our parents and district a grave disservice if you were to fire her. We all have areas where we disagree, but Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella have always worked with you to do what's best for our students. We had a similar board majority headed by Mr. Ortega and Mr. Ledesma just 2 years ago and many years prior. You worked with Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella then without complaint. So I implore you, especially you, Ms. Rumsey and Ms. Miner, to do what's best for our students, our parents, and our teachers, and retain Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella. Thank
you. And on deck is Michelle Weisenberg.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jessica Prechtel, and my daughter here is in 2nd grade at Levita Elementary. I'm a small business owner. I am a homeowner here in Orange. I'm a school site council member at Levita and a PTA member. I also have my 2-year-old who's at home with a double ear infection, and I am really regretting what I should do. Should I stay? Should I be here? And I just, I've been getting texts from my friends who also have kids in this district, and they're out of the country right now. They're still on vacation. So on behalf of the parents who are not here to speak, I stayed and I'm speaking. So my daughter started kindergarten August 2020, that infamous year. Everything was virtual, and it was very difficult. No one could have predicted. And despite all those challenges, as we keep hearing over and over again, Superintendent Hansen and Assistant Superintendent Corella were extremely responsible and proactive. And I was just the envy, like many other parents have said, of my peers who we had preschoolers together. They went to Tustin Unified, they went to Irvine Unified, and they were in shock that Orange Unified was doing such a great job getting our kids back into school. And I felt like I had won the lotto because I paid less for my house than they paid for theirs, and my kid was getting a better education. So anyway, they were experts at guiding us through a pandemic where there was no roadmap, but they did it so well, and they acted with distinction. They've received their accolades, and I just can't understand why we would dismiss them in the middle of our school year. It is so difficult to find qualified individuals to enter and work in this education field, and instead of holding on to the good ones that we have, we're considering dumping them with no clear plan for the future. This is so disruptive, And this special session itself is reckless and insulting, and we are acting as if there's some emergency situation that needs to be addressed. But we know what emergencies are. We have all lived through school closure. We have lived through school tragedies, and there's no emergency happening here. This is a power play, and it will leave our district destabilized and weakened. And furthermore, I know that Dr. Hansen's employment is under contract and it will have to be paid out if she's dismissed. This is such a waste of our money, and we are on the looming edge of an economic recession, and we have no business wasting our money in this way. Their dismissal is unwarranted and should not move forward, and I am praying with all my heart that you make the right decision tonight.
On deck is Lynn Riddle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Weisenberg. Normally I come up here and I'm very prepared, but today as I've been listening to everybody, I keep taking notes and changing what I want to say, and everything's a wreck. So good luck following me. I was a teacher, a fifth grade teacher at Sycamore Elementary on the west side of Orange Unified, and I quit in 1999 in the Great Exodus with the big board upheaval that was happening along with half of the staff of my school. I don't want to see a repeat of that. I am not surprised that some of the members of this board would do something as unethical as this. They have shown us in the past that they don't mind wasting district money, as was shown with the inappropriate appointment of Greg Salas, which then went to a recall and a special election, which cost the district somewhere around $200,000 that we did not have at the time. This, as we have said, will probably cost the district $300,000 or more in paying out the contract, not to mention lawsuits and the upcoming recall. We all know that some of our board members are bought and paid for. In past elections, or in the current election and the past election, they were supported by the people from the Family Action PAC, from the California Policy Center, these are all the same people. They're all entwined in each other with Orange County Classical Academy, with Mark Bucher, with Jeff Barkey, and all the people that are double dealing and paying back themselves. These are the same people that funded their elections this time and the last time. The last time is how we ended up with OCCA. The district gave us a 17-page report of deficiencies in OCCA's application, and the 4 board members that had received money from these same individuals that funded their elections. In fact, they were the only donors to their campaigns. These same people approved this application with 17 pages of deficiencies, with a room full of people like this speaking out against it, and they still went ahead and approved it at 1 in the morning after the public showed them. We were not okay with it. They have shown they don't care what the public thinks about any of this. I'm sorry. You know, I'm fired up tonight, and you know how effective I can be when I'm fired up. I was fired up to pass Measure S. I was fired up to recall Greg Salas, and I am fired up now. And so I think, I'm so sorry. Dr. Hansen and Mrs. Corella haven't done anything wrong. All the people in this room are supporters, and they can tell you they haven't done anything wrong. If you're going to look at the one commenter who said test scores were down, there was a pandemic. Everybody's test scores are down. And also, I appreciate her comments and her opinions. I hope that somebody can explain to her how budgets work. That's not how they work. But don't forget before you leave to sign the recall papers and make sure that we get all the clipboards around and do the QR code. And thank you so much for your time.
On deck is Michelle Canto.
I'm Lynn Riddle, a resident of the county. History and lies seem to repeat. In the 1950s, Senator Joseph McCarthy mounted a political attack on the nation's State Department, and thereafter other government departments, claiming, among other things, and I quote, that the State Department is infested with communists. I have here in my hand, he said, a list of names that were known to the Secretary of State as members of the Communist Party and who nevertheless are still working and shaping policy in the State Department, unquote. McCarthy, you see, used both red baiting and fag and homosexual baiting as untethered political weapons. As I recall, it was June of 1954, in an infamous Army McCarthy hearings, that Joseph Nye Welch responded to an unjustified and damning attack McCarthy had mounted against a young attorney advising government agencies. Mr. Welch, then chief counsel to the United States Army, responded to McCarthy's reckless and nationally televised allegations, saying, and I quote, "Until this moment, Senator, I think I have never really gauged your cruelty or your recklessness. Little did I dream you could be so reckless and so cruel. It is, I regret to say, equally true, and I fear the persons you've attacked shall always bear a scar needlessly inflicted upon them." Senator Welch continued, and I quote, "You've done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you left no sense of decency?" Unquote. President Ledesma, during the district's winter break, knowing your targeted people, both women, I happen to note, are out of the country, you've called a special meeting with just 24 hours notice and thereby intentionally deprived the women targeted by your wrath and the public too of fair notice and left us with no time to meaningfully reply. It's on that account that I, a retired federal judge, having served justice for more than 14 years in this district, I am compelled to ask you the same, Mr. Ledesma. Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, Mr. Ledesma, have you left no sense of decency? Have you, sir, no shame?
On deck is Karen Barone.
I have a headache.
Excuse me, one second. Can you repeat that name again?
Karen Barone is on deck.
Okay.
May I? Thank you. I have a headache. I don't know how many other people in here right now also have a headache. But here's how I spent my day. I learned about this morning at breakfast. Trying to do research and write this. I've not eaten since. I'm very hungry. So good afternoon or evening to everybody here. My name is Michelle Canto, and I'm a teacher at Esplanade Elementary School. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so frustrated by everything that I'm off script right now. I'm so frustrated by everything that I've been hearing. I'm shaking. I'm so mad. It just makes me sick. I'm a relatively new employee. I do not have, my son is grown up. I don't have any kids in the district. I have been trying to talk my son and daughter-in-law into moving to Orange because of how awesome it is. If this goes through, I will not be doing that. My grandson will not come to an Orange Unified School if you guys get away with this. I'm just gonna say that. I don't have any kids in the school, but I have a classroom full of little people who rely on me to be at my best. And with this happening, I am not at my best. They need me to teach them honor and honesty. And I'm going to work very hard to do that. I am not following your examples. Back to the script. I want to say on record that this emergency meeting has been called as underhanded and sneaky, to be polite. Clearly, this has been planned carefully and deliberately. You took the low road for sure, scheduling this emergency meeting when the people who need to be here are out of the country and can't defend themselves or fight for their jobs. Choosing a day when a storm is projected, that didn't work out. And a time earlier than usual when people are still at work, low road. You may be in the majority, but that doesn't mean you're right or that you're handling things responsibly. Your supporters on social media say this is a perfectly fine way to make change. You should be commended. You're working during the holidays, and that we should just get over it. But I'm here to tell you it's unprofessional and done without care for repercussions that will negatively impact people of color and those with low incomes. It is clear your goal is to get your political agenda pushed through with the least amount of fight possible. It's this simple. Public education will suffer, and that is your goal. The changes you want to make are not in the best interest of our students or the teachers who work incredibly hard to give their students the best possible education. Taking away two highly qualified leaders, who, by the way, have had their contracts renewed without opposition from you.
Please be respectful to the next speaker. Please summarize.
What? Really?
Please summarize.
I'm finishing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And this will be detrimental to our district, but again, that is your goal. Don't worry, it's only a paragraph left. I'm here to voice my support for Superintendent Hansen and Assistant Superintendent Corella, and I want to publicly say this is shameful and unacceptable. I have absolutely zero confidence in the majority of this school board. It would be a whole different story if you had made this move when all interested parties could attend. I have no problem working with those on the other side of the aisle, but I do have a problem working with those who put politics before children. I would like to thank you for your time, extended time, and especially for inspiring me to be even more involved with OUEA.
On deck is Greg Goodlander.
Good evening to those of you who are here for the right reasons tonight with honest and decent intentions. Thank you to all who have decided to show up, short notice, and I hope you continue to show up at school board meetings so we can hold these 4 people accountable for the rest of their tenure or if they are recalled. My name is Karen Barone. I've been teaching in OUSD for 22 years, and I am the parent of 2 OUSD students, one at Yorba and one at Orange High School. And I'm currently the elected OUEA Vice President. I'm here to speak against the current action of this board, namely President Ledesma, Trustees Ortega, Rumsey, and Minor. Holding this special meeting while our superintendent and assistant superintendent are not present, parents and community members are working, and teachers and staff are on winter break is a disappointing dereliction of duty. Both Ortega and Ledesma spoke at December's school board meeting about the importance of transparency, yet the agenda for this meeting and closed session topics are not transparent. If you want transparency, this meeting should have been given with more notice and held when all educational partners could be present, including Dr. Hansen, Kathleen Corella, and the rest of district leadership who are also not here. Your actions are cowardly, and that's being politically correct and civil. The action to fire our superintendent and assistant superintendent will cost this district money that should be going to our students. Using information from Transparent California, it could cost the district $800,000 to $1 million to settle Dr. Hansen's contract based on what she currently makes. It could cost upwards of $500,000 to settle Mrs. Corella's contract. That's well over $1 million for this reckless action by the board. I have a question for you. How much do we pay for headhunting companies? Because that's an additional cost to find and hire a new superintendent. For 2 people, Ledesma and Ortega in particular, who claim to be fiscal conservatives, this is an awfully interesting version they are presenting here today. If your plan is to go through with this, you won't have much to stand on when you want to criticize any expenditures under $2 million, which you currently consistently do. Is that going to be your threshold for being fiscally conservative? This $2 million could be put to better use, such as hiring some reading and math coaches to help us make up the lost gains from COVID. Putting aides in all of our classrooms. How about some outreach to reconnect our parents and community members to our schools? Us at elementary would love to have some assistant principals to help with all of the issues we're currently dealing with. And you could take a bold step with that $2 million by making all of our schools community schools, while still keeping Dr. Hansen and Kathleen Carella in their current positions. Trustee Rumsey, you actually are a teacher on this board. Because you teach at a small religious school, you don't have a superintendent and assistant superintendent, but you do have a principal and a director of education. I'm sure they work tirelessly to support you, your colleagues, and students of Salem Lutheran, and are most likely well respected in the community and amongst your staff. And I'm sure you are thankful to have someone to rely on to help you do your job to the best of your abilities, and someone that listens to teacher and parent input on what's needed and best for your students. Now imagine that a group of rogue parents who really have no concept of what it takes to run a school or what actually takes place in a classroom come after your principal and want her fired for no cause, simply because they don't like her or outside forces are influencing them to do so. What would you do as a teacher and parent? I believe you'd be here just like me, asking a board member to protect good leadership and not something wasteful and rash. Dr. Hansen and Mrs. Carella have done nothing to warrant this action, and they have been given tirelessly their time and energy to our students and community, and I urge you to not fire them.
Thank you.
On deck is Chris Erickson.
Good evening, President Ledesma, members of the board, staff, and community. I am Greg Goodlander, the proud president of OUEA. I represent certificated educators in our district, and I also teach at Orange High School. Formerly, I taught at Rosary Academy for 4 years, the private, Catholic, all-girls school in Fullerton. I'm here to go on record regarding today's special school board meeting and to raise concerns regarding its purpose without a clear rationale by the district administrative team. Decisions related to expenditures and district costs should be thoughtfully and prudently considered. Mr. Ledesma, you have prided yourself on the practice of fiscal conservatism. You are known to question decisions recommended by staff to ensure fiscal prudence. Your constituents have supported you because of this. As you move into closed session, I do hope you will take the time to have that robust conversation regarding the fiscal impact of paying out contracts after the termination of either Dr. Hansen or Kathleen Carella. Both have termination language in their contracts. Have you allowed any public discourse on the cost to the district for this payout? Can we say honestly that we're considering the fiscal propriety of this decision? Secondly, Mr. Ortega and Mr. Ledesma have spoken about the need for greater parent choice. Dr. Hansen has received accolades from parent organizations, those representing parents you've shown great concern about. Those parents respect and appreciate Dr. Hansen and Ms. Carella. If you believe in promoting parents' choice, then you will certainly support these two leaders. Will the termination of an award-winning superintendent, one with multiple years of excellent service, improve our district? OUEA is committed to great public schools for all children. We must respectfully oppose this rush to action on the buyout of any district contract. Our students and our parents deserve better than this. Thank you.
On deck is Jennifer Reeves.
Good evening. The actions taken by the board majority tonight are so extreme and so reckless and so out of the ordinary that I felt that I needed to speak to you as a citizen, as a former OUSD student, somebody who graduated Orange Unified. My husband graduated Orange Unified. I was raised in this district. I made a success of myself out of this district, and I sent my children to this district. My children are also successful Orange Unified graduates. One is in law school, and one is now teaching in this district. We love this district. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. It's very clear, of course, that elections have consequences, and it's clear 221 votes gave you the majority. This is not a mandate. Don't pretend it is. It's 221 votes. But those consequences and that election, there were some people that couldn't vote in it. And do you know who that was? Our students. Our students had no say in it. Our students that go to school every day and learn in wonderful classrooms with our wonderful teachers and wonderful parents in the district, they had no say in this election. After 2 years of hell, pandemic hell, that we did navigate well, but it was still hell, we're finally back to a normal year. This is the first normal year we've had. You're now 3 months into it, and you're gonna burn the district down by firing the CEO and the assistant superintendent of educational services? It's very clear. Dr. Hansen is qualified. She's loved. She does a great job. You've all ridden on her coattails. You've made comments about how wonderful she is. You know that. You know that this is a raw power play and it's for political payback. This should not be happening. This is not the way governance is. We should not be tearing this district apart midway through the first normal year our students have had. It's very clear that this is not about children's education and children's well-being. It's very clear it's about politics, but we need to be decent. I think Judge Riddle spoke very well on decency. Have we no decency? This is Dr. Hansen. This is somebody you hired as superintendent, and for the last 5 years have given excellent evaluations of. You showed no class in what you did.
All right, the next person on deck is going to be John Sanks.
Members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'll wait until you're finished. Can we restart my time since you were chatting? Thank you. Members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I am Jennifer Reeves, a mother, small business owner, and the California chair for the National Organization Defense of Democracy. Our group is committed to supporting and defending teachers, administrators, and legislators who work for the betterment of all of their students, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. I was asked here today by members of the community who are concerned with the future of education here in Orange. There is also great concern regarding the possible dismissal of both the superintendent as well as the assistant superintendent of educational services. It would appear, not only from articles written, but from many of the speakers here today, that the superintendent is not only well-liked and has received many outstanding performance evaluations, but has been committed to both her position as a superintendent, as well as to the safety and health of her students. These are all signs of a superintendent who is doing what's best for her students and her schools. This should be celebrated, not terminated. To those here in the public, I would suggest you put in a written records request of all emails and texts between the board members leading up to this meeting. To the members of the board, I ask you to think on this decision and not dismiss anyone today. How would you feel if you had done an exemplary job at your place of employment and your boss chose to terminate you while you were away taking care of an ill parent? Take the time to work with her and her assistant and see what you can accomplish together. Consider not just what you think is best, but what outside of that small box could benefit the students. All kids have individual needs. We need to remember that and support them, not fit them into a mold that isn't theirs. Thank you.
So on deck, we have Alex Broussard.
Hi, my name is John Sanks, and I want to start off with, I'm so angry I had to come here tonight. You know, I'm missing dinner with my daughter for this. And why? It's disappointing you're not going to listen to what I'm saying or heed these comments of your constituents. How many here have spoken out in favor of what you're doing tonight? Is this representative? I'm so disappointed. I'm disappointed that the newly elected board is holding a special meeting at such short notice during work hours when I had to leave early today and during winter break. The minutes from December's meeting where you were sworn in are not posted on the website yet. Think about that for a moment. The public's left guessing what the motives are for replacing a superintendent mid-year. Ironically, some of you ran on a platform with big signs that said, "Parents Trust." Yet your first significant action is taking place in a barely advertised special meeting, which I can only interpret as a desire to keep parents in the dark. There were promises of fiscal responsibility, and it's disappointing that this board lacks the patience to even attempt to work with staff and instead would consider a termination that will likely cost the district, local taxpayers, and parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. I can only speculate on the nature of tonight's closed session, but I want to remind you that Orange Unified reopened its schools far before nearly any other public schools in California, and I believe district staff did the best they could.
You only have so many things at once. You can't do two things at once, right?
You're the hero. All right.
I want to put another, if you can, another 25 seconds on there.
45. So, as I was saying, I ask that you take no action tonight. Orange Unified has done a great job teaching my daughter how to work well with others, and I hope the board members will have the ability to do the same. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Excuse me, one second. I apologize.
So on deck is
there's two people.
Hasti Sadehi and Karina Q. Alarami. K-E-W-A-L-R-A-M-A-N-I.
They know who they are now. Okay.
There wasn't a pronunciation provided.
Are we ready? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can start if you'd like.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, my name is Alex Broussard. I live in Orange. My wife, Sarah Broussard, can't be here because she's working. She and I are both attorneys. Her bosses can't be here. They're on vacation because of the timing of this meeting. My little girl's in first grade at McPherson. And one of the battles of having a first grader is the testing of boundaries. As all the parents in here probably know, if you do not show them the consequences of their actions, they are going to keep taking the same actions. This board needs to be shown the consequences of their actions. How do we show the board the consequences of their boldly political actions? With a political reaction. Recall. We all know what the outcome of the closed session meeting is going to be. You are going to fire our superintendent and our assistant superintendent. You are going to cost this school district millions of dollars. That's a consequence of your actions. That's not a consequence that you'll feel. The consequence that you'll feel is the recall and the political reality of never going any further than this school board. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I teach my little girl consequences to her actions. I really, really hope that you can see the consequences of your actions, the harm that it will cause this school district, and the harm that it will cause my little girl, the harm that it will cause the little girls and boys of all of the parents in this room. You're putting your political ambitions above the well-being of my child. I have never been politically active before. I am now. Because when you take an action that will harm my child, you will see the rage of a parent. You will be recalled. Thank you.
On deck is Ruby Hewitt.
Good afternoon, respected school board members. As we're students, we don't get to vote, so thank you for allowing us to speak today. My name is Karina Kevel-Romani, and I'm a senior at Canyon High School. I am president of Mock Trial, vice president of the Junior State of America, captain of the junior dance team, and one of the 7 students in the district in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. My brother also attends Canyon as a freshman, and I am here in support of Superintendent Gunn-Marie Hansen.
Hi, my name is Hasti Sadeghi. I'm Canyon's ASB Vice President and Junior State of America President, Scholar, AP Scholar, and Athlete. Junior State of America is an organization that fights for adolescents' voices to be heard.
Dr. Hansen has led our school through very difficult times with expertise and compassion. During the pandemic, there were lots of uncertainties. With her guidance, we, the students, and our parents were kept informed of updates and changing policies. As our public health department and the state shut down in-person learning, we were very quickly able to continue our education virtually and then back in person. Throughout the pandemic, Dr. Hansen continued to follow the advice of experts while addressing our educational and emotional needs. My education was better because of Dr. Hansen, and I and many other students would like her to continue to be our superintendent.
Dr. Hansen has helped our professional organization, Junior State of America at Canyon. She prioritizes education and helped 20 delegates attend an educational convention in LA where students across the state came together to collaborate, debate, engage in civic activities, and learn about current events. I, as Canyon's Associated Student Body Vice President, appreciate Dr. Hansen's effort to allow new educational experiences outside the classroom to broaden our perspectives. As a senior, my freshman year was cut short due to the pandemic. I and students of the OUSD have faced many obstacles due to this change. I fear this disruptive change will cause even more obstacles to our education. Haven't we endured enough? As an active student leader at Canyon High School, I reflect the student body when I say, we support Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella.
I am especially concerned that this meeting was called with very little notice due to winter vacation, and our Canyon High School School Board representative, Maddie Saloom, despite her efforts, was unable to be here today. I feel that this action does not represent the ethical and professional behavior that we have come to expect from our school board. At Canyon, we are taught that our voices matter and are heard. And I'm hopeful that you and our school board members will honor what is best for our educational well-being and respect the needs of the student and people in the district above your political agenda. Thank you.
On deck is Nancy Clark.
Hi, my name is Ruby Hewitt, as you know. I'm a senior at El Medina High School, and I'll be 18 on January 31st. I note that because I will be of voting age. I am the elections commissioner at El Medina. I ran my school's voter registration drive, so I'm very passionate about voting. I'm very sure that I will be at the polls in the next election or sooner with all of those who I registered this fall. I am the student board representative for El Medina, and I'm a concerned and disappointed and appalled student. To become student board representative, I had to go through a brief interview process through my ASB. Everyone applying was asked specific job-related questions and then asked a few general questions about leadership. This brought into focus the term service leadership. By definition, service leadership is a leadership philosophy built on the belief that the most effective leaders strive to serve others rather than accrue power or take control. A deep understanding, commitment, and practice of this term is required to serve in a high school leadership class. As a general rule, I think that the governing board of a school district should be held to a higher standard than a group of high schoolers. When you go to closed session, I challenge you to evaluate the motivations behind this motion. Are you truly concerned about the fitness of these qualified and dedicated individuals for their positions despite serving the district for years while navigating some of the most tumultuous challenges in recent history? Or is this a move for power? For maintaining the power of those who fund you and for maintaining your power despite opposition by the body you govern? We are the people you serve. We are the people that are affected by the decisions that you make. And we are looking to you to uphold your civil responsibility to legislate in our interest. Our position is clear. Acting in contrast to it is self-serving, which wouldn't hold up in an ASB class and shouldn't hold up here. New and old voters, teachers, and students are paying attention to what you do. You are supposed to be leaders and role models. We learn from your leadership that you display, so I urge you to uphold your responsibility to the many people in this room, to listen to them, and to govern on our behalf. Be the leaders you want our students to be one day. Thank you.
On deck is Sarah Hoffman.
What a hard act to follow. I'm not going to say the same thing that's been said over and over and over again. We all know it. We know that Dr. Hansen is the best thing for Orange Unified School District. We know that Ms. Corella is the best thing that happened to our Educational Services Department. What you're doing is wrong, and it's not well known, but I think people are getting the picture. Somebody's paying you to do this. Somebody funded your re-election. Mr. Ledesma, I'm talking to you. I'm pretty sure that you know who did it. His name is Jeff Barkey. The other one is Mark Bucher, and they are in your pocket or you're in theirs, and this is wrong. This is wrong. I'm surprised that, Angie, you're going along with it. I'm not surprised that John Ortega is. Madison Minor, I don't know where you stand in this, but based on what I read, you're not a very truthful person. And the things that you are aiming to see the direction our district go, that's not public education. Not at all. So do what's right. Don't take the people that support these kids and do what you plan to do to them. It's wrong. It's wrong. Don't do it. Thank you.
On deck is Tara Scully.
Hi, my name's Sarah Hoffman, and I'm here tonight to let you know that I came on my birthday because this is how important I think this is. And I'm also here for my daughter, Emma, who goes to El Medina and is a junior and is just thriving in Orange USD. I came here 24 years ago and I planted my feet and I knew I wanted my kids to go here because I believed in this district and I saw how wonderful it was. And I honestly can say, when I was talking to my daughter last night and telling her, and she recently had a surgery for her shoulder and is in a stabilizer right now and should be home icing. But she said, Mom, can I please go? And I said, no, you should stay home. You should ice. You should take care of you. And she said to me, Mom, this is our school. This is our board who is supposed to be fighting for us. I have to go. It doesn't matter if I'm in pain. When I get home, I'll ice, I'll take my anti-inflammatory, and I'll start reading and studying all my stuff because she's a great kid. And I look at you and I think to myself, this is a kid that deserves better. This is a kid that deserves a board that's gonna fight for her when she's fighting in pain right now, but wants to sit here. And I have told her, and her teacher has offered her chair to her because we were standing in the back. And I kept saying, let's go, let's just sit down. But that's how much it means for me to stand here. I see peers of hers standing up and talking, and I'm so impressed. I see this judge who blows me away. And I think maybe, just maybe, something's gonna sink in. One of these people with their story is gonna sink in and affect you to make the right choice. This is about the kids. I'm an educator. I've been at McPherson for 24 years. I sent both of my kids there. I would never send my kid to a school I didn't wholeheartedly believe in. So please, think deeply before you make this decision tonight. Please think with your hearts and not with a political agenda, because our kids deserve this. We all deserve this. Thank you.
Is Tara Scully here? Tara Scully. Then it's Rosina Meredith. Right, so Tara Scully. And
Good evening, trustees.
on deck, I'm so sorry. On deck is going to be Rosina Meredith. Go ahead.
Good evening, trustees. I am busy reworking my comments because everything that I was going to focus on has already been said very, very well. I will summarize my views of these simply by saying this meeting is a fraudulent travesty on this community. Secondly, Dr. Hansen, as we all know, as has been demonstrated and repeated over and over again, Dr. Hansen is a superlative superintendent, probably the best superintendent in Orange County. And every time we have congratulated her, what does she say? She thanks and congratulates and honors her assistant superintendents, Kathleen Carella among them. OUSD is lucky to have them. They don't deserve this. They deserve our thanks and our gratitude. But what I want to say is, I was on the board, Kathy Moffett is my name. I was on the board for 22 years. And so I've been through, and with Mr. Ortega and with Mr. Ledesma, we've been through a lot of things. And I remember a few years ago when our last superintendent, the wonderful Mr. Mike Christensen, was being bullied and brutalized and embarrassed and humiliated by this board led by you, Mr. Ledesma, because you wouldn't put renewal of his contract on the school board agenda. That was you, sir. And he was so humiliated, what did he do? He resigned. And we lost a treasure at that time. That led our district into confusion, delay, and erosion of confidence in Orange Unified School District. And now here we are again, with power-crazed trustees Ledesma and Ortega attempting to bulldoze yet another superintendent who's doing a superlative job in her position. I would like to address Mrs. Rumsey and Mrs. Minor. To Angie Rumsey, whom I respect as a woman of faith and conscience, please do not empower these morally bankrupt men on our board by voting with them. They do not deserve your support. And to Mrs. Minor, after your successful election, however vicious and deceitful it may have been, that campaign for office has landed you in this chair. And you now have an opportunity to show us who you are. You have an opportunity to show a little speck of decency. Do not vote with these men. Without you, they can't do this. So to both of you, your vote is your responsibility, no matter who planned this, no matter who talked you into voting with them, no matter who paid for your election. This is your responsibility, and it shows your character. We will be watching.
So Rosina Meredith?
That was for me. She spoke for me.
Okay. So Dr. Luis Ortiz Franco? Luis Ortiz Franco? Karen Adams?
She had to leave.
Chad Zimmerman? On deck is Jen Berkson.
Honorable trustees of the Orange Unified School District, my name is Chad Zimmerman. I have lived in Villa Park for many years. Both of my kids have gone to local public schools in OUSD. One of them is still a junior at Villa Park High School. I've been a Cub Master for Cub Scout Pack 850 in Villa Park. Chief for Indian Princesses. I'm a volunteer in my city through Rotary, and most recently, I spent 4 years as city councilman, the last year as mayor of the city of Villa Park. I'm here to speak on behalf of Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella. Mrs. Madison Klostad Minor, I met you briefly at a Rotary meeting, the Villa Park Rotary Club. I thought it would be appropriate for me to read the Rotary four-way test. This is something that Rotarians use to judge decisions and to evaluate how they look at the world. The first is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Elected representation is where we represent the community, not our personal views. We've heard a small sampling of the support that Dr. Hansen and Mrs. Corella have earned in the community. People are not here tonight because they really want to be. They're here because a person has earned respect. We're here to give you a wake-up call about how respect is developed. The way you vote is a measure of your integrity. This is a moment to look inside yourself and do the right thing for the community. I hope that you've listened with an open mind to the community you represent. I hope that you hold yourself accountable to that community and not to your own opinion. I'll be reporting back to our Rotary Club, and I'll be talking with residents of the city of Villa Park. it's not too late. Please don't remove our superintendent and assistant superintendent. Please vote as an elected representative for the will of the people, not for your own agenda. Thank you.
On deck is Kennedy Shaw.
Good evening, Board President Ledesma and members of the board. People know me, I'm very emotional. I work very hard behind the scenes. I'm not a person in the front, even though I kind of am sometimes. My name is Jennifer Berkson. I am a 48-year resident, yes, I'm that old, of this community, and I'm a proud graduate of Canyon. I have 3 children that are going to Canyon. I have one that is currently in private school and has chosen to attend Canyon High School, and I am absolutely 100% proud of that. Before we start, I want to address the students and graduates of OUSD. I feel there's a feeling in this room amongst you that we are molding failures and degenerates, and it is the exact opposite. This room is a testament of the strength and the greatness that has come out of this district. And even in the years of chaos, we've created so many great individuals. And listening to all of these, my fellow graduates of this district tonight, is awe-inspiring. I didn't think that I could even get up here because I was so inspired by them. It saddens me that you feel this way. Our OUSD graduates are leading scientists, they're Olympians, they're presidents, they're CEOs and teachers and parent leaders. They've gone on to just make a footprint. And it is amazing that you think that we're less than. And here's where I stand. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You live by that. I know you do. I've watched, I've done my research. The one rule we want our children to live by, and every adult we encounter, I have always held my faith close and let it guide me. As individuals, you were elected to represent students, employees, and parents. I know I had to have faith that all members of this board would follow the golden rule and come together to make decisions that were sound, morally, financially, and legally binding. Even when they don't align. It's okay to not agree with each other outside of this room. But inside this room, you must come together. Board members Miner and Rumsey, I plead with you as an educator. I'm a 26-year veteran. But as faith-filled leaders, do unto others. In this case, Dr. Henson and Ms. Corella. Give them the respect you would expect people to give you, the young women you are raising. Strive to serve students of now and in the future. Do better, be better. You have every right to educate your children how you see fit, but as a board member, it is your duty to listen to your constituents, and I ask you to stand alone and bear your cross.
On deck is Rebecca Gomez.
Good evening, board members. My name is Kennedy Shaw, and I am an OUSD parent and devoted community volunteer. I am a product of a great public school system. I grew up in Long Beach Unified, which is one of the greatest districts in California, and it's because we had an amazing superintendent, a superintendent like Dr. Hanson. I'm not going to wax poetic about how great Dr. Hanson and Ms. Corella are. That's been said many times here tonight. They are amazing administrators by any measure. The circumstances surrounding this meeting and the timing stinks like a swamp. And for people who ran saying that they're not politicians, this is some slimy politics. Yeah. Dr. Hanson and Ms. Corella are not here to defend themselves. That is the least that you could have provided them. They are people of integrity. They have done what is best for our kids in a very, very hard time. A lot of you on this board are very concerned about topics that you consider to be divisive being taught in our classrooms. You know what's divisive? Firing people that are good at their jobs. After all, it's not like Dr. Hansen or Ms. Corella lied about their credentials or experience in order to get jobs that they are not qualified for. Judge not, that you not be judged.
On deck is Carrie Lindell.
Good evening, board members. I'm Becky Gomez. I'm a council member in the city of Tustin and a former Orange County Board of Education trustee. I'm also a longtime educator, but my political experience, I've been on some boards, I'll tell you. I'm surprised that you're holding a special meeting during the winter break when your district constituents are enjoying their school break. You have a regularly scheduled meeting within 2 weeks. Some of you have been recently elected and probably not have had time to understand the district and your role as a trustee. Give yourself time to learn about the district without political influence. Please allow your constituents to provide their perspective and weigh in on your decision regarding the status of Orange Unified Superintendent and Associate Superintendent. It is their children, education, that is at stake. A few years ago, I spent time as a principal for a day in one of your elementary schools with primarily a Hispanic population. I was impressed with the programs that supported the students and the community volunteer support for the school. I also served on the Orange County School Board Association. In the fall of 2020, I had the pleasure of reviewing OUSD's application for a Golden Bell Award. Although I do not remember the details of that application, what struck me most about that interview was the passion, consideration, and commitment to the OUSD students by the superintendent and the leadership team as they presented their program and application. They clearly demonstrated the positive impact on their students. I was very pleased to support their application for the Golden Bell. I was thrilled to be present when they actually received that Golden Bell, which is not an easy accomplishment. And I see that award proudly acknowledged here in this boardroom. Your lack of transparency, common courtesy, and professionalism is shameful when the people that are involved cannot even be present. Please do not make a rash decision regarding the leadership of this district. Your decision will impact the students and future of your community. You must make decisions in the best interest of the students and the quality of education in OUSD without political influence. The cost to your taxpayers, your ethics, your credibility, and ultimately the children of this district. The cost, think about the cost to your students. Money should be spent on students and not inviting frivolous lawsuits. But you're gonna see it. Thank you.
On deck, I apologize for saying this wrong, but it's Florice Hoffman.
Good evening, board members. My name is Carrie Lundell, proud parent of 1 OUSD graduate and 3 more OUSD students. Over the past 15 years, I have spent countless hours volunteering in our local OUSD schools at the elementary, middle, and high school levels, including holding the position of PTA and PTO president many times. I've been a volunteer run club coach, a volunteer art teacher. I've also volunteered my time to multiple district committees, including the Sex Education Curriculum Review Committee and the Ed Tech Committee. And now I'm happy to say that I'm not only a parent in OUSD, I am also the head cross-country coach at Orange High School, go Panthers, and the CTE art teacher at Yorba Middle School, go Teachers. To say that I have a personal vested interest in this school district and the success of it is an understatement. But that's not the only reason why I care. I believe in public schools. I believe in their mission to provide an equitable and excellent education to all students. Do we get it right all the time? And I say we now because I'm part of this. No, we don't. But we try. And I think that anyone who knows me or my kids, I call out things when I see a problem, and sometimes I ruffle feathers all around me, but people know that when I call it out, I'm gonna jump right in, I'm gonna get in the trenches, I'm gonna be there to help make it better. I told my senior daughter I didn't want to miss her Orange High basketball game tonight, like so many other parents who are missing things tonight, to be at this meeting. But she said to me, Mom, this meeting is more important. Because she knows, because she's been my daughter for the past 15 years, 16 years. She's had to come to meetings. I saw another little girl sitting here with her mom today. She's done this. She knows that we have to pay attention and that what we do and what we say matters. Tonight I'm here to bear witness because the OUSD community will need to know what happens at this meeting, and the board members will need to be held accountable. I know this has been said before, but I need to say it again. Superintendent Hansen and Assistant Superintendent Corella provided vital leadership during the pandemic, giving parents choices for their kids. We had choices when other parents and other families did not in other districts. And I thank them for that. We were lucky to have them then, and we are lucky to have them now. What is happening here tonight is not right. And it isn't even in line with the board majority's own stated values. If this isn't heavy-handed government overreach, I'm not sure what is. Reconsider your actions tonight, or at the very least, please reconsider your timing, so you lessen the negative impact that this upheaval of district leadership will have on our children and our students. Thank you.
Good evening,
on
board
deck
members.
Is Heather Colter.
Good evening, board members. I'm Florice Hoffman. I'm a longtime parent of OUSD. I have 2 children that graduated from Kenyon High School. One's a lawyer, works at PERB, so I want the union to know that you have someone on your side. Another is getting his teaching credential at Cal State Long Beach in bilingual education. And one is a senior at Kenyon now. I have to say that here we go again. This is really fiscally, educationally, and legally unsound, what you're doing tonight. I'm appalled by a legal opinion that says that you don't have to have due process in this particular termination because you don't have cause or discipline or a complaint. So that's why you don't have to notify in advance 2 people that you plan to terminate. That's appalling. It's so fiscally unsound, and it also lends back to the days when OUSD was looked down by the rest of the county and people said, our property tax, our property values are not the same as Irvine or Tustin or other places because our schools were looked down upon. And we're going into a recession right now, probably, and our housing prices are already going down. And this will be another thing for people to move to Irvine and to other places. I was proud of what this district did during COVID. My stepson chose to go back to school. It wouldn't have been my decision, but he chose that. And he had that opportunity to have in-class education when other areas didn't. But what you're doing tonight is just politically motivated and obviously against the vast majority of the residents of this school district. It's appalling. And you need to think less about politics because now you're on the radar again. We've already had this being on the radar. It was embarrassing when Steve Rocco was on here and we couldn't recall him, but you're on the radar now in a very negative way for what you're doing tonight. And if you want to continue and serve for 4 years, I think you should respect due process, should respect the education and the and fiscally, you need to respect that this contract is going to cost you. Thank you.
On deck is Catherine Toper.
Hi, I'm Heather Coulter. I teach kindergarten currently at Canyon Rim. Thank you. I love my students and I love my families. And that love comes greatly from my faith. So I thought about it, try not to be emotional. I had written some things down, and they've all been said. And I thought, well, what hats have I worn in my nearly 65 years, 42 of those years teaching? Well, I've been a children's pastor, and I've been a women's pastor, and I've been a pastor's wife. And I have been a servant to a higher power for many, many years. I know that there are 2 women on this board that claim to be women of faith, and they are, in my opinion, being manipulated by people who also claim to be people of faith, but to all appearances, and I just call it what it is, are more interested in politics than in faith. I am asking for you to reach within yourselves. I have been back there praying for you. Your integrity has been called into question. Your ethics, your morals have been called into question. It would be so trite in a way to say, what would Jesus do? But what would Jesus do? I don't think he would do this. I did go to Proverbs. The righteous who walk in his integrity, blessed are his children after him. But then there are other ones that promise that whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. And I'm praying that you will make your ways straight, and that you will be honest, and that you will not listen to the politicians, that you will see that we have people who are in leadership that are not perfect, but they're, having taught for 42 years, I've had a few administrators, they're as close as you can get. They are devoted to the students, to our community, to the people in this district. They care. They don't have a political agenda. They care about our kids. I live by Canyon High. I am so proud to drive by that school now. When my kid went there, but he graduated and he is doing some great things in our community. But I just appeal to your faith. You've listened to a lot of fear, and I'm appealing to your faith. And I want you to reach deep and think about your integrity and what that brings to you and to our district.
Good evening.
On deck is Bonnie Robinson.
I'm Catherine Toper. As many of you know, I've worked for the district for 32 years, almost 18 in the superintendent's office, 5 superintendents, numerous board members. Yes, Steve Rocco. We've got some new ones here. The new ones, I had a whole prepared speech. Everything's been said so many times. Oh, I was going to say that. But for our new board members, have you really worked with Dr. Hansen? Do you know her? She started off, she was interim, the fiasco with Mr. Christensen. Anyway, she came in and we had a fire out there on the freeway. I think it was the freeway fire. It jumped over. Anaheim Hills was shut down. She had a plan of action in no time. That was tremendous. Everybody praised her. She did an excellent job. We had staff out there, buses out there. Incredible, meeting all the time. The latest, I didn't see it, but I heard Panorama Heights. We retained it. It didn't go to Tustin Unified as much as people wanted. Thank you, Dr. Hansen. The passion here is unbelievable. And I've worked with you people. What are you thinking? I mean, it's like, you're crazy. All the 5 superintendents, some liked them, some didn't like them. They had this problem. They were on Twitter. I didn't even have Twitter back then. But I think really Dr. Hansen has been the one everybody loves. Everybody loves. She's congenial. She has a sense of humor. There's no political bias with her whatsoever. I'm just appalled. I saw this morning. I'm eating breakfast, and I'm like, what? And I just want to know why. I really want to know. I've been asking people, what did she do? She's not even here, and that's not fair, nor is Ms. Corella. I mean, how awful. You're on vacation, and you find out, oh, I'm being fired. Terrible, terrible. And I'm really amazed, because you were, some of you, great board members. You worked together. It was a good group. Yes, there were differences, but I'm just sick. Like everybody here, my kids went through Elmo. My daughter taught at Elmo. My daughter-in-law is teaching, at Elmo. In the school district, my daughter-in-law is teaching. I have grandkids in the district. It's our family. You know, they always say, once you join Orange, you're part of the family in a good way. You bleed orange, I guess. But I don't have orange blood. But anyway, I'm really, really sad that it's gotten to this. I hope you listen. I hope you listen to these people, because if you don't, it's really a shame. Our district has come so far. This was like a minute. I got off track. But really, reconsider. I'm begging you. It's just such a disservice if you ask them to leave. Think hard and pray.
My name is Bonnie Robinson, and I am going to be repeating some of the things that have already been said tonight, because maybe it takes repeating them over and over and over again to get the message across. I taught for Orange Unified School District as an elementary teacher, elementary classroom teacher, and resource teacher for 40 years. Because of my role as a resource teacher, provider of staff development, my administrative responsibilities, I had numerous contacts with district administrators on a regular basis. My children attended Orange Unified Schools, and my granddaughter graduated from El Medina High School in June of 2022. My daughter-in-law works for Orange Unified. I've seen many ups and downs in this district as far as administrators and policies and what is best for students. I was also teaching in the 90s here. However, until this meeting, this has been one of the up periods. For the last several years, we have been fortunate to have an excellent superintendent, Dr. Gun-Marie Hansen, and an equally excellent assistant superintendent, Ms. Kathleen Corella. These administrators are educators who know education policy and what are the best practices for teachers and educating students, all students with many different needs. They also encourage parent participation in their children's education. They are respected by their colleagues, as you've heard over and over again, as well as by parents and teachers. And you've also heard about the accolades Orange Unified has received, one's shown right here on the back wall, because of the guidance, due to the guidance of Dr. Hansen and Ms. Corella. I happened to be on Fletcher School's side. It was after I retired as a volunteer the Friday before, the Friday that everything was closed down for the pandemic. And I was tasked with the responsibility of passing out laptops and Chromebooks to all the first graders as they walked out the door. And this was under the guidance and the forethought of Dr. Hansen, who thought of, these kids are going to be doing online learning. We've got to survey the student population very, very quickly. There's very little time to prepare for this, to make sure that every child had access to that online instruction. And at that time, they thought the the break was only going to be 2 weeks. Little did we know. Our superintendent and assistant superintendent worked strategically to get Orange Unified students back on campus during the pandemic as quickly as possible, and we were the first districts in Orange County to do so. Alternatives were also continued for those students who, for one reason or another, were not ready to return to on-site. They're also aware of the trauma and challenges that our children have been through and have strategies in place to fill those gaps and needs. It is terrible, horrible that this meeting was called when our students are on vacation, our parents are may be on vacation with them, and our people who are the subject of this meeting today are not even here. They're out of the country. This is not in the best interest of our students, their education, our teachers, or our property values. It is an unethical action, an immoral action, and fiscally irresponsible. And once again, not in the best interest of the education of the children of Orange Unified School District. I ask you to reconsider your plans, and just because you can doesn't mean you should. Thank you.
Okay, that was the last speaker from the blue cards, and we will now adjourn to closed session. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order, open session at 8:41. Okay, I will be reporting out on closed session action, and following that, adjourning the meeting, just so manage expectations here.
Are you saying that we won't have an opportunity to make any comments?
Not on the agenda.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Report out of closed session. The following reports are made based on the requirements, Government Code Section 54957.1, Paren A, Paren 5. In closed session by a vote of 4 to 3, with members Yamasaki, Page, and Erickson voting against the motion, the board took action to immediately provide the superintendent with 30 calendar days written notice of termination of employment in accordance with the superintendent's agreement for employment at Section 7, Paragraph D, and that the superintendent is immediately placed on paid administrative leave effective today. Number two. In closed session by a vote of 4 to 3, with members Yamasaki, Page, and Erickson voting against the motion, the board took action to provide the Assistant Superintendent of Education Services with written notice that she is placed on paid administrative leave effective today until further notice, pending the district conducting curriculum and education audit. In closed session, by a vote of 4, 2, and 1, with members Yamasaki and Page, and member Erickson abstaining, Yamasaki and Page voting no, voting against the motion, the board took action to employ Edward Velasquez as the district's interim superintendent effective Monday, January 9th, 2023. Item 4. In closed session by a vote of 4 to 1, with members Yamasaki and Page voting against the motion and member Erickson abstaining, the board took action to appoint Craig Abercrombie as the district's acting Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services effective Monday, November 9th, 2023. I would like to adjourn the meeting at 8:45.
I would like to explain my abstention vote, or we don't have an opportunity to do that.
Thank you.